Welcome
Welcome
to Timeline Talks.
to the Timeline Talks.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live in Technicolor from the beautiful Hollywood Hills, California. The show where the total retail price of their advice is $0. This is Timeline Talks. Featuring guest stars, Morph action figure collector, Kapla, It Stars, and Garner. Also featuring Joey, have you ever been in a Turkish prison? Look out, it's Automaton 2000. And now, the man with the chatter, he doesn't have a bladder. Here's your host, Captain Idol.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Timelines Talks, the premium, exclusive, #1 show for all things Star Trek Timelines.
You're concentrating so hard on getting that intro right.
I am Captain Idol, your host. I am joined by mainstays, Automaton 2000 Stars and Garters, and joining us for this week we have man of the people, Walt Koenig, and joining us the man himself, Frank, probably longest person playing that I know of. Maybe. Sorry, I couldn't think of any good accolades off the fly there. Hey, Frank.
The longest? Do you want to give a qualifier for that?
Maybe.
It's about this long.
But he's about this long in this thing, yeah. Damn it, why haven't I made that a trigger yet? Yes, hello everybody, and welcome. We have got a big show tonight to talk about. In fact, we've been off for a couple of weeks, but we'll be definitely talking a lot about the new boss battle feature, because this is going to be somewhat divisive. We've got a lot of opinions, a bit of feedback to give. I know some player feedbacks. I know Ben's literally right now answering questions in the Timeline's main server, so pop that in your other window and have a look at that while we soothe you with our non-grating voices. Also, we're going to be talking about new crew and things like that. But very first of all, congratulations. Thank you very much to all of our show title submitters. Shut up, Auto. See you smack in there. To all our people who submitted show titles, congratulations, Travelling Man, for getting the winning vote. But as always, we have to spin the wheel for all our people who submitted show titles. And it is a packed wheel. We've never had so many submissions. And yes, we are going 5 wide, so my layout's completely broken. But let's spin it. See who wins the sub. Damo, Walt Koenig!
Oh, come on!
Rigged.
What is this?
Wow, could have picked it.
Thank you very much. I'll send you the mail later on. Please, speech.
Speech. Absolutely rigged. Okay, well, I'll sort you out when your sub expires. But I do need to, in a moment, buy Trey a sub, because he specifically requested, because he won last week, that I buy it live on air. So I will do that very soon for you, Trey, since I see you in chat there. Okay, very quickly, because we're going to get onto the meat quite quick tonight, as they say, this long, this thick. Event winners, congratulations, the previous week, Rowden, for getting a 5 of 5 manga for drawing claps all round. Siete at number 2, Jim Berlin number 3, This Cisco number 4, Bright 8, James T. Kirk 19, Pahura 25, Dangervin 28, Evans of Wales 29, We Are the Borg 39, Pinkskin 34, Clouds of the Eastern Region. This has been your weather forecast for this week. Event winners for this week. Congratulations. First time win, I've heard, for Dunsel for a 5 out of 5 win. So very congratulations on getting your first win as why here.
Congratulations to Captain Dunsel.
Yeah, Captain Dunsel. Rowden at number two. So from a number 1 to a number 2, week to week. Congratulations to Eltel Quest 16, Gozilla 17, Frank at 18, Genos, our own Timeless Talks historian at 19, Damar 30, Crank and Siete's favourite, don't know who that is, but one of the two, number 34, Pahura again 49. So congratulations everybody. So boss battles, guys, it's here. We've started
What?
it. We've
Never heard of it.
No, it's just some of them do shit battles. There's a shit anyway. Gonna hand over to you, Otto. You've had something planned for this, so you've kind of got the grip on this one, how you want to handle this. While I go,
He's done his part.
I'm gonna go and spend some money.
Wait, really? I've done literally zero planning for this, but yes, to prevent us talking all over each other. Yes, to prevent us talking all over each other.
Sorry, carry on. That was nothing.
I'm being
Nothing happened.
ethered. The multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to go in a circle like an AA meeting, introduce ourselves, what captain level we're at, what our expectations were going in, where they met, and a 1 to 10 rating, and then we'll start breaking stuff down. So let's start with our host, former number 1 Premium Dabo winner, Walt Koenig. Introduce yourself to the group, please.
Good evening.
There you go, Trey. What an entrance.
Thank you, Commander Data. Yeah, so
Beautiful singing.
yeah, very much. I'm elderly player, virgin on whale category. So yeah, been playing 6 years now. So yeah, level 14, level 99, whatever it is. So 800 odd crew. So my experience with the fleet boss battles has been mixed. It's been probably like a lot of people. It's been quite fun doing something new. Doing something with the fleet. I wasn't sure before it started that it was going to feel like such a grind doing all the swapping crew in and out. That's probably one of my pervading feelings there. I thought that was going to be a bit more of a, feel a bit more easy and natural and less like, as I said, just before we came on, I said I had to unfreeze Sulu of the body because like we had the Archon trait on. It's like there's one crew with that. Okay, I got to get Sulu, and it's like I didn't. I said it. I didn't play this game for Mayweather and Neelix's to be my roster. So it's but it's been fun. Let's say I'm quite enjoying it. So and fleets having mixed results. We had a bit of a run. Started quite well, probably like a few fleets, and then hoping for a good concerted run as a fleet at a brutal level tonight. So fingers crossed that all goes well. I'll let someone else talk for a change.
Yeah, no merits were harmed in the making of this episode. Frank, go ahead, introduce yourself to the group.
Oh boy. Hi, my name's Frank, and I'm a dilithium addict. By dilithium. I'm level 99. I've been playing the game since the beginning. I retire basically once a week, probably, usually in fits of rage, and then come back because something shiny gets me. If anything, I'm known for making very foolish decisions. I have all the available crew in the game immortalized at least once, with the exception of Frantic McCoy, and then obviously who we're going to win this next week. I don't make smart decisions in this game, but I like to have fun with crazy stuff, and kind of like Walt said, I really didn't anticipate using a bridge full of Neelixes or Mayweathers, and yet here we are. General overview, I'll just say I had both no expectations and some expectations, so I could fall somewhere in the middle and not be horribly disappointed. It's the biggest feature that we've seen in a very long time, and I'm very happy and pleased that it has started a lot of engagement and conversation within the fleets, because where I might only normally talk to like 5 or 6 people, I'm getting to talk to a whole lot more and interact with them, and that's awesome. And I think it's letting a lot of other people appreciate that aspect of the game, because there's a lot of really cool people in this community and in your own fleet that you might not even know about. But there's a lot of stuff that we'll cover later that fell a little short or could be improved upon. Right now I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Room to grow, but also room to drop. We'll see.
The guy that gets paid to do all the intros, Idle, go ahead, you're next.
I'm next. Okay. Hello, my name is Captain Idle. I am a streaming
Previous
addict.
pre-planned.
Yes. I am a streaming addict, and I am a level 99 player that's been playing for about, I think it was about 2.5 years now. Came sort of, what did I start? Coal Mega, that's when I started playing. So I've kind of gone through the highs and dries of the honor sales and the gauntlet scene sort of, halfway through the game. But I can't help but really like boss battles with its flaws. It has some major flaws. It has big things that need fixing, big things that need addressing. One of which was partly addressed yesterday. Partly addressed, I say, not completely. But like Frank says, we're talking as a fleet like that we never have before. We're having people joining from our fleet, actually joining the Discord, and kind of goes, okay, I need to actually talk to you losers. Like we need to work this out because I need to get mine. So I like that aspect of it. I think the merit drain and the something I'm sure Auto will touch on lately, the aspect of being left in the dust if you don't get on this right now. The legacy support for these features is going to be tough when getting support with your fleet. But as a whole, I can't help but really like the aspect of getting you work with the crew. Unfreezing and using old crew is a bit of a pain, but does illustrate the point of that, we need them. And I like how it reinvigorates ship battle statistics in a way that we've not looked at since ever. So that's me. And now Stars Talks.
I was waiting for you to introduce me because people might not know who I am. I haven't been on the show for a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stars and Garters.
So, I would probably class. I think I've been playing this game for like 3-4 years. I joined right at the tail end of the original Mirror Mega. I don't know if I classify myself as a whale just because my income does not support that, but I am PvP level 14 over a long period of time. I am not a habitual re-roller like some. In terms of fleet boss battles, what I expected, honestly, I kind of expected this is something that's going to be cycled through relatively quickly, kind of like the event timescale. Like, I think I mentioned this on the Timelines Discord. A lot of stuff that comes to this game is done in 5-day increments or maximum a month increments, where it's like, that's how far in ahead you plan your game.
Cranky! Come on, thank you for resubscribing.
And this is a 4 to 6 month increment that we had to think about these boss battles, like roughly. So thinking about that, that's a really ambitious project. And I think that's kind of reflected in the fact that this is a very interesting game mechanic. There's a lot of thinking to be done about it, not so much doing because you...
Thank you very much for subscribing.
They love you so much,
They
Stars.
do. This is what brings the
And
money
I'm
in.
done. And I'm done.
Thank you.
People will literally pay money to listen to you talk, man.
Sorry.
True.
Thank you, everyone.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. See, the actual amount of time you spend playing is relatively little because you don't last very long. And there's a lot more talking about it than doing it, but I kind of like that aspect to it because this is up until this point, not a very social game. You would basically stay confined to your squadron, maybe just your squadron leader, or saying, do you want me to take squadron lead because I've got share? And this is a lot very different from that. You have to talk to up to 30 or 40 other people, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing. That means we are more like an actual fleet doing things. There are flaws. The merit economy does not support this feature as it currently stands. They need to change that. That's an aspect of this game where it's 6 or 7 years old now. There are parts of this game that are built on other parts of this game that no longer support that new gameplay, so things need to be changed up. Rewards threshold needs to be changed up. But in terms of what it's doing for the meta, I really enjoy it. I love crunching trait combos, and I'm going to be a little bit sad when we inevitably come up with a bot to take that away, just like we did with Big Book ratings, because I missed that as well, because I'm a nerd. So far, I'd probably agree with Frank, probably about a 7 out of 10 overall. Like, plenty of room to grow, definitely some big flaws, but we've seen fixes for this faster than we've seen almost anything, so clearly they are invested in it, so I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and get invested too.
Okay, man of the hour.
So I've been playing 4.5 years now, and a million alts. But the current one that I've been playing on is level 33, I think. And it's been brutal. This is definitely a system made for veteran players in mind, and not just the knowledge. You have to have the crew, you have to have fused ships, fused crew to make much headway. So, my expectations going in, the very first teaser trailer they put out showed stat boosts, 5-6%, something on par with completing several big collections. So I thought, I wonder if there's this... we saw in recent times, we'll talk about it later, they kind of dialed back on stat boosts from collections. I thought, maybe they're going to put it in Captain's Bridge. And that got me invested, because that's the main reason I chase collections, to make my roster overall stronger. And that didn't happen. They kind of pulled that out and gave us stuff like accuracy and hull and evasion, and so that kind of dampened my enthusiasm. I also didn't expect quite the grind. I didn't know what to expect in terms of time scale, but they said, well, this is something you're going to be doing every day as long as your Valor allows it. So I thought, maybe a little more incremental rewards. But the stuff I'm looking at personally is months down the line. So that's also kind of disincentivized me from getting too hyped into it. So I'm in a fleet with 3 of these guys. I had to leave it just to be able to get any resources whatsoever, because the gap between veteran player, they can score high enough in the thresholds, new players can't. So lots of issues we'll dig into later. But overall, for me personally, features a 1 out of 10. And most of that 1 comes from seeing the excitement on my friends when they discuss stuff and figure stuff out. And I've been doing a little bit of that too. But in terms of what you get back for rewards for the time put in, not great right now.
I think to expand on it, I think there is that initial setup, and there is a lot of, especially when you first start, people are like, I'm not getting rewards, why am I not doing well? I'm participating, and that Valor drip is so slow that you put 1 in, you've got 1 out of 4, you put it in, and then you close your phone down, you open it up again, you look again, and then someone's dilithium their way into completing it, and you're just like, I needed more Valor, I needed more time.
That could be.
Yeah, I wonder who that could be. But, I mean, and you'd be like, I just need more time. Like, a little bit of communication with the fleet needed there, but there is that little element of you could lose stuff. Like, in this, you could lose Valor. And okay, fair, recharges, but I don't know, how do we want to play this? Do we want to start faults and then good stuff, or do we want, which way around?
Let's do the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That sounds good. Okay.
So we'll head back to Walt. You're the man of the hour. Tell us your favorite part or parts of Fleet Boss battles.
So I like you guys have said, I like the fact that, for the first time, I mean, I'm talking to the fleet. I mean, I've been in the current fleet for just over a year now. Before that, as like Stars said, you're antisocial. I was very much played in my own bubble in a very quiet fleet that really didn't do too much because there was nothing really to worry about needing a fleet.
I was happy in my bubble. I like my bubble.
Yeah. But yes,
says the man who starts a streaming show.
We're talking to the fleet. That's really good. It's there's interaction. It's great. Even across the community again, everyone's like pulling together, trying to come up with ideas to help. And there's always great advice from different people coming around. It's really good. It's nice that it's a new feature. It's just something new, something different. I think what else is good. I'm enjoying some of the rewards, and the crew that are appearing look quite funky and different. So nice to see some single skillers, which is a nice change. So, but not appeared in my roster yet. But I know some people do have them. So Frank, over to you.
So you'll hear this theme a lot, is the social aspect, because to Walt's point, up until now, or earlier last week, the most interaction you'd have to have in a fleet or with other players is during a faction event if you were the squad leader and you were going to share, or you were a squad member and you wanted to ask, what are you sharing? That's it. You don't interact in galaxy events, you don't interact in skirmishes, you don't interact in expeditions or really anything else. People took to Discord and Line to have their own fleet set up since the beginning of the game, but before this feature there was never anything that said you absolutely have to communicate or it's going to fall flat. So I appreciate that aspect, because it's never too late to try and revive a dying game. And not that I think this game is dying in any way, but it's added a serious length to its lifespan potentially with this. I like the general, without details, the general concept. I like the general idea of a progressing difficulty with increasing rewards. I've akin this to a starbase but ship battles. And star bases were introduced, and we had some growing pains, and we had some knowledge deficits, and people figured it out on their own. And a lot of people wanted to rush through as fast as they could, but it turns out that's a long-term investment. And what flipped the switch in my brain for me on this is I realized this is just Starbase's version 2. This is a very long-term investment to take upwards of a year for most people that have, to Otto's point, the right ships that are fused and crew to sustain it, to be able to get to those high-level bridges. Some people can rush it and get it faster. Others will never get that far, and that's fine because it's not required, hopefully. but there's still a lot of meat in the middle there that needs to be tweaked and adjusted to make sure that everybody can benefit from it. Because right now it's a concept on paper, and we're in a beta, as Ben likes to say. And for a beta, relatively, it's working well. Stars pointed out we got hot fixes faster than I think, other than them giving away free stuff in a faction store by accident a couple of years ago. We've never seen something get patched this fast. So, great stuff. Not that I bought any of that. No. So I'm liking where it can possibly go, but I still have, and you'll hear it again, recurring themes with all the things that we need to adjust. We're still in the beta, so this Ben, anybody at WRG, listen carefully to the community, because this is a beta. There's still time to change and adjust the course before things get too concrete and locked in where we cannot deviate. There's an opportunity to create a balance and a fair playing field for everybody and make this a premier feature for this game that you can really hang your hat on, and in years put this on your resume, put this on your LinkedIn, that you developed this feature that had X player retention, X engagement, just shot all the metrics through the roof, because that's what this can be. But we need to adjust some stuff, and I do want to amend my earlier score, the 7 out of 10. It was a 7 out of 10 until we lost Otto as a fleet mate, and now it's a 1.8 out of 10.
All right, so since we're doing the good, they're doing the good. Like what people mentioned, social aspects. Love the fact that everyone's talking a lot more. There's a lot more strategy, and I like the strategy in picking the nodes. That's cool. Although we'll get, I think the bad and the ugly will cover some of the node situation, as it were. But I like the principle behind, you need this crew to fix this node to deal more damage. That's great. That's a great idea. Do enough of these and you can get 50% off the boss. So that requires using, like Ben had said before, using your crew depth, using your crew roster, which is what we always wanted. Kind of also fuels you need every crew to be able to participate, but, quid pro quo. That is one of the things. So I like the Captain's Bridge. We mentioned that. I like the idea of progressing that as another progression system, and you get your own various rewards through there, including a couple of pretty decent crew, which we'll come on to later as well. The good is, us looking at these crew for their ship abilities. I like we're now taking this system, which was kind of relegated to, maybe a skirmish if you've got a 400% boom and Ardra or Hollow Data. That's all you need. They're the only crew viable for any kind of any kind of arena battle. So now we've got this added development that we're now looking at hull repair. We're now looking at other types of not evasion, but other types of sort of other booms or other crew. Like Taco Mayweather is now coming to the prolification to say, like, oh, he's one of the 400% booms that doesn't have charges, and like, oh, good, crew number 1004 has finally come into use. The prodigal son returns after all these years. So there is some good stuff. I like the presentation of it. I can't say, like, the way they've sort of drummed up the hype for the boss battle come in, the opening with the planet killer. Those would be my major good points, I think, off the top of my head. Stars.
So I think the social aspect is probably the number one success of this. Like, I think our probably Discord traffic has increased by a total of 4,000% in terms of there'd occasionally be someone saying, "Oh, I really like Changing Worlds," or "Oh, what do you want your faction share?" Or then there'd be an off-topic, "Let's talk about bacon," which it's good.
Delicious.
And then suddenly, over the course of about 5 minutes, when it goes live, to people actually going into this, like, okay, instantly everyone is cracking open Data Core, they're cracking open Big Book. And they're going, okay, what exactly is my maximized thing here? What are the weird experiments I can run? And in terms of like leveraging crew depth, I can't think of much that even a galaxy doesn't require or a faction doesn't require this much. Looking at the actual strengths of your crew, and also it's kind of hilarious looking back at some crew that were obviously never designed with this in mind. Like I think it's like Captain Lorien has like a 20-second initialization on the ship ability. You look at that and you go. Yeah, exactly. You just when we get our fleet boss battles ranking done, that he's going to probably go right to the bottom of the pile because you're dead by that point. And then there are just the heroes that turn up. It's like, some of the arena wins are in there, but then it's like suddenly the artifact becomes the most viable 5-star ship there is because of the hull heal, which is not something that would ever have been really useful in skirmish or arena. That's not something that matters because it's all about the 6-second boom. But that's not really viable here, and I like that it forces you to diversify and go for a different approach for it. The node unlocking has its problems, but I like it in concept. I especially love that Ben disclosed on the Discord the aspect where you can have 2 crew, each with one of the traits required, and it'll unlock as a good-bad bug that made it past in because everyone was like, oh, this is too much fun to remove. I love development stories like that where bugs make it through to the final product because they're just too good to take out. I think that thematically it's cool, like getting to fight these big enemies as a fun Star Trek thing. Like, Star Trek shouldn't always be about big ship battles and war and all this, but when it happens, it should be fun, and I feel like this captures the... Like, I actually bothered to turn my music on. I was like, for the first few ones, I was like, oh yeah, this is getting me in the mood. It's good fun.
Speaking of the music, the bit when you first open boss battles, I swear that's a track from Birth of the Federation. Quote me if I'm wrong. Listen to it. Sorry to interrupt you quickly. Very quickly interrupt you. If anyone's wondering, it's now chucking it down with rain at the moment. My basement has a little sort of area around here where the water starts to build up. So if you hear my I've got a little pump out there. When it gets too full, it triggers. So if you hear it gonna kick off in a minute, that's what that is, and I will need to sort that out.
We were wondering what the water feature was.
Yeah, that's the rain. It's now starting to absolutely chuck it down. I would expect a power cut.
No, it's just his bladder.
Yeah. I've got a microphone inside me. Anyway.
Yeah.
What are you drinking tonight, Idol?
Sorry, let's finish. I'll tell you.
How big is it?
Carry on.
Am I good?
Our podcast listeners are loving us right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. It's the sound of water and like pictures of beer cans. Yeah, no, I think it's overall, I think this is a massive success for the right kind of player. So I will then move the ball onto Otto, and he can elucidate on the limited boons of this mode from his perspective.
Well, there's a lot of good. I can't participate in a lot of it, but theoretically it's there. All right. Modularity. This is, out of the systems in the game so far, probably the most modular. You think of, okay, how can we update Voyages, Shuttles, Gauntlet, make it fresh? Gauntlet is probably the best right now because you get a new crew, and there's a lot of excitement attached to that. How do you make Shuttles more modular? Well, you kind of don't. You add new stories for events. Who reads event text? And no, not really. They said maybe in the future, but that's been kind of stock standard since the game started. So in terms of modularity, A+ for me. They can add new ships. They can add, obviously the trait combos are randomized, so that adds an element of freshness, a new exclusive crew, which we're going to talk about later. And these first two are pretty unique and exciting. So I think that has kind of the hallmarks of keeping these fresh long term. Determinism. I'm huge on deterministic farming in games. I hate the RNG element. I think a lot of people do too. That's why a lot of people quit the Gauntlet as soon as they get the exclusive crews. So being able theoretically to deterministically farm. Okay, I know after I hit Captain's Bridge 6, 7's coming up. I just got to keep grinding away at the battles. My fleet keeps grinding away. I'll get there eventually. I know that they're there waiting for me. I don't have to risk going 5 years without the right RNG crew dropping. And then number 3, obviously all the props in the world to Ben for handling the feedback. This has been, if you've been a longer time player, the best that they've ever handled feedback on anything. Right now he's doing a Q&A in the bingo server. He's been doing one for days in our server. We talk to him every so often, the Timeline Talks guys, about shows and stuff, and he gets our feel for feedback. So, and obviously they're taking it from other social media, the forums everywhere, and within the first week then they did patch some of the most urgent stuff, which, considering the size of their team and they only do deployments on Tuesday, that was pretty much what you can expect. So A++ for listening to feedback, and I think they know that this may be kind of their baby for the foreseeable future in terms of adding more stuff onto this feature. So I like all that stuff, and I think we could be in for the long haul with fleet boss battles. So onto the bad, and save the real ugly stuff for the end, because we've got to get a little negativity into the show. Walt, tell me what's bad. What is bad but fixable on your radar?
Bad, I think it's the same for everyone, is the merits. Like Star said, it's even recently we were talking about the objective events and how we were hemorrhaging merits for the gauntlet refreshers to try and get that done, and then they introduced this at the same time. At one point, my merits were down to 12. And that was literally that same day. Then they gave us those merit rewards. Like they give us 200, 250 or something like that. And they gave us a voyage token. I was like, if they got rid of the voyage token and give me like another 1,000 merits, there might have been some use. So it was just in that swing where the campaign was just ending, so I wasn't getting any merits from that either. So I was really struggling. Traveling Man, who came up with tonight's show title, I think he said he spent 30,000 merits. Refreshing crew, getting crew in and out of his, because he's like Frank's category where he's
got every crew in the game.
Yeah, so he was, all the trait combos that were coming up, he was able to do that. So to me, that's the one that is fixable. Either they need to change the cost to get crew in and out, get crew out of the freezer, or give some merits back to put when you're putting crew in the freezer, something like that. But again, it's fixable. I think there's definitely it's doable. The other bad thing is we pointed out that when people were fighting within the boss battles, again within our fleet, they were doing their bit and they were trying to do their bit, and they weren't getting rewards. Again, there's been a fix already. WRG have put a fix on that already, as you said, Auto. Then this is very quick. They've reduced the lowest thresholds on all levels. So all of a sudden, there's people that were going to be getting nothing, the same effort, and now we're going to be getting something. And that's everyone's fleet's going to be in that same boat. Our own fix within the fleet, and I put out and said, what you need to do is not just when you get to 1 or 2 Valor, I'll chuck it at a battle. It's like wait for all 4 to build up, get all 4 Valor in there, and then put them all in, at once. Get a, again, the social stuff we talked about. Get a good setup on your ship. And everyone's got pretty much, certainly within our fleet. Obviously, some fleets there'll be people who are really struggling, but even with our fleet, everyone's got a decent amount of purple crew. So we're only sort of fighting on the hard level at the moment. We're looking to get on, really push for a brutal. And there's still all using purples. We're not talking about people in the proper whale category with all the golds. So there's people all able to use purples and get a good setup and get some damage on the. Don't worry about for people. Shouldn't worry about combos. Get some damage. Get bang bang bang. Get some damage in there, and you'll get a threshold. You'll get something out of it, and your captain's bridge will be advancing, and hopefully people will be smiling. I think they're the sort of my bad things. Frank, what do you think?
So you're probably going to hear a lot about the merits and the unthawing cost. I'm not going to harp on that because I did for our fleet, whenever it first came out, we rushed through all the way up to Ultra Nightmare just to have everything unlocked so we never have to worry about it again, and then we can kind of set a stage. So that's the only time I actually thawed out 1-star, 2-star, 3-star crew to get through those first couple of levels. Once that was done, I haven't thought them yet. For those that saw me pack pulling earlier, I actually ran out of crew slots because I still have 60 blues out for some reason. So that's not a problem for me. But I recognize 100% that there's like 8 players in the game, 10 players in the game that are in my situation. So absolutely that's a problem for literally 99% of the player base. That's something that does need to be addressed. And let's remember, the Vault didn't even exist when this game came out. You couldn't freeze a crew. You immortalized a crew, or you didn't, that's all. And then the pain point of slots, they said, oh, well, we'll create this Vault so you can freeze your crew. And at that level of the game, in the first year, nobody needed a freeze crew. You needed every crew you had, with the exception of 1-stars. So that was just an easement to a pain point, but then there's a cost to it. So it'll probably be visited in other comments that cost should be evaluated, done away with, or something. What I will say are my takeaways negatively is a balance issue. there needs to be some sort of balance. And I mean this on behalf of a player at the level of like Otto, or even a level 50 player, somebody who doesn't have all the ships, that is going to get left behind because they get 4 Valor the same as I do. And they can spend it anywhere they want. And if the entire fleet is attacking Brutal or Nightmare, their 4 Valor may not even get them but barely that threshold if they have enough ships, the right ships, to even enter that point of entry. Even with the lowered threshold, they still might not be able to get it. Eventually, over time, yes, they will, but it doesn't help them when everybody else around them is getting to do this new shiny thing and getting to benefit from it. And they're the kids on the playground just watching kind of like through the fence, like, oh, okay, that looks like fun. I wish I could. Oh, well. Because then that takes away from that player's engagement, and that player's going to say, well, you know what? I'm going to put the phone down. Thank you. I'll go find something else to do with my time. So that's a problem. The other problem is the balance of the HP of all the different bosses. You've got 6 different bosses. Not letting the cat out of the bag here. If you haven't figured it out at this point, it's all math. Spoiler alert. Hard is what you need to grind in the beginning. It's only got 160 million HP. That's not a lot. 10 players, 10, with 4 Valors, all of them with the sphere setup that has the right crew that can nail about 4 million damage a shot, which is kind of the going rate right now on hard. 10 players can knock out hard like that. That's it, with 4 Valor. And then the boss is beaten. And only 10 players got to take advantage of it, but then you cycle another 10 players through that can do it again. You could do some sort of structure like that. Hard's fantastic for grinding until you get to bridge level 7, and then it's pointless. Because you need stuff that's only on the upchuck. And that's where it changes, because where you could take out hard a couple of times a day, you really can't take out brutal a couple of times a day. You really can't take out nightmare a couple times a day. I don't think you can take out Ultra Nightmare in a day without dilithium rushing. And there is somebody way smarter than me that will do the math calculations to know if a person starts the 24-hour clock with 4 Valor, if you have a fleet of 50 people, make the math easy. Everybody's got 4 Valor. And they go blow their 4 Valor on an Ultra Nightmare boss. And they're doing the combos because you have to. So they're wasting potential really good damage runs to find the right combo of crew. Can it be beaten without having to buy more Valor with dilithium in a 24-hour span? Do you need more than 24 hours? Especially for the harder bosses, would a longer clock benefit players, especially players like, at not picking on them, but Otto's current level or around that need more than 24 hours just to chip away enough to get a little smidgen, a little morsel of the rewards? That's the biggest problem I see with the balance right now that can be addressed, but right now it's way out of sync.
Okay, so you probably touched on some of the same complaints I would have had. Just on the bad, yeah, for people with low crew slots, which I'm not one. I've spent dilithium to get myself a nice surplus of crew slots. I'm fine, but I know people that don't. The people that literally live right to the line. They go, right, new person in, need to freeze someone. Check my spreadsheets or my big book, and yeah, like you self-stars, like crew slots are a problem. So you know that, like, oh great, so I now need Sulu of the body to do this one, right? I need to freeze this person. It's a hassle. It's an absolute hassle to kind of do that kind of thing, to keep pulling people in and out, just so you might get a combo, because you don't know, because it's a bit ambiguous, and there might being very extraneous with previous patch where they actually had some hidden combos which were hidden under the screen, but never mind, they fixed that now, so we'll move along. So I think that is a bit of an issue. Leveraging crew depth is fine if you can take away the pain point, very common phrase they like to use, of getting that crew out in the first place, which a lot of people were thinking, like, oh, maybe we'll just be able to use them straight from the freezer. Or maybe it'll be that wonderful moment they suddenly go, hello everyone, here's 5,000 dilithium, we're getting rid of the crew slot limit and just letting it be infinite. Wouldn't that be nice in an ideal world? But hey, they probably won't ever do that. But yeah, I think it's one of the bad things. I think the 24-hour clock, like Frank says, is an issue. I can understand why they have it on some of the lower difficulties, but like you say, Ultra Nightmare is going to be near impossible without that dill spend. The other problem with Ultra Nightmares as well is there is one legendary Bellitrium on there you can only get for participating and for beating the boss 100%. Which we don't know what that's for yet. We've not seen what the captain's level requirements are. It's going to be used somewhere. So in order to complete your captain's bridge, to maybe get that third copy of Frantic McCoy, or just get that final bit at level 20 for completionists out there, because there are few. I'm a completionist. I have to have everything. You're going to need to find some way of beating the Ultra Nightmare boss. Now, whether we can do that with the boosts on the Captain's Bridge, we don't know. But it is a bit of a, like, I understand things have to be a challenge and there should be rewards for that challenge, but that's a little bit of kind of like dangling the carrot at the end of the stick as you're walking over the cliff kind of situation. You know, they're just basically saying, you're going to need to spend some dilithium that we keep throwing at you for this. And it just doesn't quite feel fair. For merits, I think merits are kind of... We were all a bit at the start just going, oh my god, we're spending so many merits, but I think that was only in the initial phase where we're kind of getting the normal and the easy, normal, and hard bosses where you have to unfreeze, you know, your 1, 2-star, 3-star crew, kind of, and a little bit as well with 4-star crew, again, depending on your slots. If you want to do combos, fine, but you don't have to do combos on those slots. I think there is an element of, I mean, I've been doing hard with no combos. We've been doing it because it gives people more time to get their damage in, to get on the minimum threshold, which is... Also, another thing I think is quite bad is just having a minimum threshold at all. I think if you've done one battle, you should be in there, even if it's just for like one Magnesite, one Chemasite, whatever. The very bare minimum, you should have something for it. Putting Valor in, especially if you've then paid dilithium for Valor, and then getting fuck all out of it is not fair. Absolutely not fair. Like, you know, I've done that a few times. I've gone, right, I've put my 2 Valor on this one. We've beaten that boss. Oh, I've got 1 left. I'll just pop it on Heart, the next one, and then I've gone to sleep. And then someone's completed overnight. Not naming names, Frank. But regardless, whoever, someone's completed it and you've lost out. You've lost a Valor, which, okay, it recharges, but it still doesn't feel good to have basically put that in for nothing. So I think, you know, although they have lowered the threshold for minimum damage, and it is achievable, I think there should be no minimum. There should just be a reward for the basic for every level, which is, yeah, I would say... Those are my main pain points. I think aside from maybe escalating the cost, I'm sure there is one I will mention, but I think Auto's probably going to mention it, so I will leave that one for him.
I like when you take shots at Frank because he has to wait for 4 other people to talk before he's allowed to clap back at you. So,
Stars, go on.
So we've touched on most of the big points here. The only ones there's one I'm going to save for ugly because I feel like it is a genuinely ugly part of it, and it's a bad one. But so the 2 I want to bring up now is related to the point about if you just do one battle and you don't hit that threshold, you don't get jack shit, and that's a feel bad for, I think, right? But I feel what's arguably even worse is, say you move your crew slots around, you do your Tetris, and you get out a crew to unlock a specific node, hit a chain, right? You do 10% of the boss's damage. Well done, you really contributed to the fleet. You don't get that damage added to your personal threshold. You don't get anything for doing that node or combo chain. If you don't hit the personal damage raw, you contribute to the fleet, sure, and the fleet thanks you for your service, but you don't get anything for it. And it's a combination
If I can interrupt you quickly, one of the things Ben said in the Q&A just now is they are looking at a way to give some kind of credit for completing a combo and then making the reward for completing a combo more valuable. So I just want to...
Yeah, it's just a case of, like, as it is right now, you can very much say, beta, this is in beta, we are working these things out. And it's like, I'm not quite sure how to balance it. Maybe it's a case of a bit more magnesite if you finish a node.
Do you remember the last time you paid for a beta?
To
beta and you're putting money into it? Is that really a beta? Is that not a commercial feature? Sorry, Carol.
There are tons of games on Steam that are in early access that are paid, so that's a slippery slope that we've already gone down. So yeah, that sort of thing is like, you need to be very altruistic, you need to be very high-minded, you need to be able to take it on the chin if you spend your 3 Valor, you don't hit your personal threshold, you spent those 3 shots of Valor minimizing your raw damage so that you could hit a node, you hit the node, and then you get nothing. That's feel bad. That's a straight up, that's not pain point, that is an agony point. That is, that's a no good. And I feel like it does bear bringing up, and this isn't a form of criticism, this is just how games are made. This is a game made by a small team who are playing on dev accounts with unlimited resources. They don't feel these things, and That's because they are not. They don't have to pay for it. It's like in Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, where you just go into the chat menu, you hit plus 1,000 resource, and it arrives in your thing, and then you can keep on playing and messing around with it. That is not the natural way to play the game. Like the way that we play the game, where we have to actually spend merits, and then we wait until a gauntlet refreshes, or we wait until our dailies refresh so that we can get a tiny smidgen, because the merit economy isn't balanced for this. In terms of crew slots, again, tying into that point, I found it very funny that Ben was like, "Oh, we have a solution coming out for having to unfreeze 5 crew slots." Okay, that's not even enough to sustain 2 bridge setups. If I want to run normal and hard, which is what our fleet is doing at the same time because we have enough damage dealers and we're coordinating enough, you need 7 crew. You need 3 for the blue, and then you need 4 for the purple. And suddenly it's like, well, those 5 slots that you gave us aren't even enough. And that's if you aren't living to the edge like I do. So it's a case of either merits need to be rebalanced, the vault needs to be changed around, crew slots need to be modified. I understand that these are all things that are monetized, and I understand that removing one of these things is not something they want to do. But I don't know, you can't buy merits, so unless they want... Oh god, I don't want to put that idea into their head. I would much rather prefer...
Here's your boss battles pass! Yes! Merits and valor!
Don't do this! No! And the only other bad thing, but I feel like this is a beta thing, is that in terms of the rewards, there is nothing too unique in the rewards. Like Otto was saying, the preview build they were showing us, you were getting entire account-wide buffs, where it was like plus command, plus security, and now it's just hull, shields, antimatter, and the antimatter thing, I don't know if it's working yet, because it wasn't for a while. And I'm wondering if it's a case of, is that just the beta, so that we're ready to take on other ship battles so that they're easier? Or is it a case that they're all themed for different buffs? Like, is the next one going to be all skill buffs, because that's the way it's a more appropriate boss for that kind of thing? But it's also a case of, okay, new crew. They're good crew. Like, they're well-designed and interesting crew. Like, Frantic McCoy especially is like, if you go and look at the big book I have, he's a tier 1 crew. He's excellent. He's really well-designed, even if it is McCoy in a blue uniform number 7.
Yeah.
And if there's something unique, yeah, that's hard. It's really hard to introduce something completely unique into a 6-7-year-old game. And I'm hoping that that's just this is beta, we don't want to throw anything too big into the rewards, because we want to see how you do. So those are sort of like my main ones. I have one other one that I want to talk about when we get to Ugly, but I want to pass this over to Otto, because I feel like he has a much different perspective.
So he gets the big scroll out.
Actually, I'm gonna go real light on this one. I don't like the time scale of the rewards. Shuttles, you set your crew 3 hours later, bam, you get your rewards. Voyages, it's a constant drip, including every 2 hours you get a little something, maybe you get a new purple crew. Events, you can choose if you want to grind nonstop, you can get significant rewards over a few days period. This one feels like I'm going to be waiting a long time. Me personally, I'm only on bridge level 2, which means I got a super rare behold that was like, oh, okay, when I get 3 more stars on this crew, maybe I'll level them up. So for me, I'm putting in a lot of time and getting almost 0 reward. Like you said, that speaks to the strength of the modularity of the feature. If we get different kinds of long-term permanent buffs in different bosses, then that's going to appeal to more players. But right now, those ship buffs aren't going to really help me at all, because the skirmish limiter is how fast can you push the 3x and then auto button, and your thing's going to be over. Like, attack doesn't help me, hull doesn't help me. If they had a cooldown timer reducer, maybe that would help me long-term, but that's going to be kind of a drop in the bucket. So there are some really nice rewards in there. I have my eye on Frantic McCoy, but it may take me 5 months to get there, 6 months to get there. Even Gauntlet with the RNG irritating element also means that you might get 2 Baylocks drop in consecutive days, which a lot of people have happened, and that's a really great feeling, even though there's droughts at other times. So there's going to be, as far as I can see, no surprise like, oh, I got really lucky and got some great drops on this one. Well, it's going to be a slow grind. And if you're not set up your roster, then it might be a slow, painful grind. So let's talk about some the good, bad, and the ugly. Things that will the ship hit the shores and break apart? Can they fix it? Is a fundamental thing. Walt, kick us off with your deep-seated fears.
I'm not really. The thing that probably I'm not quite sure about is, as you get to the higher levels. I mean, so I've not got there yet. Am I going to be sitting there on Ultra Nightmare theoretically, and then go, oh crap, I need Sulu of the body again. Oh, I've got to get back to and have to get him out the because it's theoretically it's any crew. And it's like, now it's like, oh god, where's who's got a good blooming trait spreadsheet of like everything that you can just.
You can find that on.
Okay, I see your hand up there, Idle. Yes, but it's getting those. There must be. I mean, someone will tell me. One of you guys probably knows already without me looking. There must be some 1 or 2 star crew that have got some weird traits that only them they have, and we're probably lucky, as Star said, the bug that you can have 2 separate crew to get the nodes, with the traits within the node. That's probably a big benefit, because otherwise there'll be some weird combos in there that you're only going to get with a green crew or a blue crew. I mean, you're not going to get Cardassian Damar, 2-star Damar isn't going to get anybody, is he?
Get those Mintark and Troys out there in the crew that have got about 14
absolutely.
billion traits, just in case.
Mintark and Troy, it was first, everyone's go-to purple, isn't it? It's like, get them 13 traits. Day 1 or day 2 of the boss battle starting, it was like, okay, like scour through the purple crew and let's see who's got 1 billion traits. And it was I knew Mintark and Troy, and it was like Ambassador Spock's got like 11, and then it was like Gabriel Bell and 1701 Jadzia. They've got like 10 each, and I can't remember who else. There's another one with 10. Probably another Cisco, I think. Because Cisco's and Burnham's all seem to have all the traits, in the world. So, I'm not sure there's anything that's. I think probably the only thing is probably the thing that some people are finding, and has been pointed out, for people that are less whale-like than ourselves, is how are they going to manage? And I asked, I think I've seen some comments by Shy in chat saying that, he's still struggling with management of his roster and management of merits, because it's free to play. And I polled the fleet to say, I knew I was coming on, and said, is there anything feedback that you guys want? And Dan Jivin, who often sort of does well in events for us, gave me a bit of feedback. And gave me a little bit of feedback, and it's a suggestion. He said, one suggestion I've not yet seen, he's adding the % chance for the high level materials to drop at free to play friendly levels. The game is fundamentally based around item drop chance in shuttles and the galaxy map, kind of like what Auto was saying, you get some drops. For those fleets who may only ever be cut out to repeat hard or brutal, let them be randomly rewarded for continuing to engage with the feature. Without this, more casual fleets will hit a natural limit where they can no longer progress because they cannot earn Bellictrium, and they'll lose interest. Kind of echoing what has been said here. So I think that's the one that's going to be the difficult thing. Maybe is making this feature work for all people at all levels. Other than that, I'm not quite sure there's anything that's broken. Like I say, it's been quite fun using some crew that I'd forgotten about. It's been, I've got 34 purples. I did a look at 34 purples active on my roster at the moment. That's unheard of. Like for the last couple of years, I've been living at like 6. I'll have like the latest couple maybe from events, and I'm leveling up and waiting for sites. And mirror flocks and off the front queue. yeah, okay, thanks, Walter.
Mr. Walt Koenig, noted whale.
Yeah, exactly. I can't. I'm not going to lie, am I? I can't say it's different. But it's been nice using some of these purples. It's been, as Idle said at the start, looking at fleet ship battle stats that I haven't looked at in 5 years. So, it's yeah. No, it's not all good. It's certainly not all bad, and there's a little bit of ugly out there. But
quick, someone tell me the difference between critical chance and critical rating. Go.
I don't know.
One of them says bonus, one of them says rating.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue. So I think I'm probably sitting at around a 6 out of 10. I think it's good. It's as much as being able to work as a fleet, such a big positive.
All right, Frank, take some shots at Idle. I mean, since we're on the ugly category, so that's all I'm saying.
He has nice hair.
Some bitch.
My foundational worries are odd because I try and look for something unique, maybe that hasn't been mentioned or play on something. Kind of to Walt and Dangavin's point, rewards for me is what I am worried about because, like Otto said earlier, hey, a behold or a 3-star citation. For the amount of effort that people are putting into this, the time that they are putting in, the engagement, because at the end of the day, let's not pretend here. WRG, TP, DB, all of the predecessors beforehand have been for-profit companies. This is a game, yes, it is a form of entertainment, but it is for-profit. They are trying to make money. They have employees that have to earn a salary and whatnot. So, buy dilithium. But they want to make sure that there are metrics in their engagement. And I absolutely know that this is ramped up engagement by people, but you need to reward those people for having engagement with your app or with your service. So when somebody's logging in several times a day and spending their in-game currency to unfreeze crew and go chase nodes and do this, you need to give better rewards than what you're giving right now. And I know it's a beta, but the fact that people are already progressing really high up means that probably these rewards are locked in now, and this will be revisited with the next one. They need to be drastically improved. These are not largely good rewards. The second issue is the boosts. To Otto's point, it's great to have all these different ship boosts that we're all using to take down these really beefy, high-level bosses. But at what point do I even care anymore? At what point numerically do those boosts even make a difference? Because we're all going to be plugging away at combos and traits and just trying to get our max in. I would rather have some more stat boosts to have improvement over my crew and the already unbalanced stats, because we've got boosts for some stats that are like way up here and boosts for stats that are really lacking, like by 5%, that needs to be balanced. It was a good opportunity to do that. Maybe they'll do that in a future iteration, but right now I don't think that they really hit it on the head with what they're offering there. And the third one, and this is a weird one, the crew they're offering. Frantic McCoy is fantastic. Scotty, love him, because it's finally justice to the one skilled Scotty we've had forever. Missed opportunity, and this is a free one. You can have this one for free, Ben. You could have taken a classic representation of the TOS crew, since this is a TOS bridge and a TOS Doomsday Machine theme. And at certain level, milestones, instead of doing 3 copies, which is weird, of McCoy and 3 copies of Scotty, you do 1 copy of each, but you do 6 crew. And you do that 1 skill Scotty. You've already got a 1 skill McCoy, who's a world beater. So do a 1 skill Kirk, who's the top command, even better than Captain Tribble. Do yourself a 1 skill Science Spock, that's the world beater. He's all that shuttle. Do a 1 skill Sulu for command, or security, I guess, and a 1 skill Uhura for diplomacy. You have all 6 traits covered by your 6 original cast members. 1 skill, they're iconic. They're in the iconic pose, not a weird pose. Really nice representations, and it's clean, and it makes people go, hey, I love TOS. I want to collect these crew. I'm going to go for it. Instead of, well, with 3 copies, I don't really need to rush. I can just get 1, and I'll get some sites in an honor sale. So think about the crew that you're releasing. Again, great job with Frantic McCoy. Not even mad about it. Fantastic. But you've got opportunities with these really long gaps that it's going to take, I fear, once you get into like level 13, 14, 15, where it takes days and days and days and days just to get enough to upgrade 1 stat. You need to really give good rewards. And, 500,000 credits and a citation or a behold. People that are at that level, they don't need a super rare behold. They need a lot more than that.
So my main ugly is, what happens in 3-4 months' time? When he said, we're going to release a new bridge. What happens in 3-4 months' time when we've all beaten it? We've got it. But there's someone who's been playing the game for maybe a year, who's got a level 30-40 crew. They don't have everyone, but they say, right, I really want. And everyone's saying, oh, you need to get that Frantic McCoy. You've got to have Frantic McCoy. He's like one of the best crew in the game. He's been going great for like 3 years now, still not been topped. And the guy goes, well, does anyone want to help me on this bridge? And everyone goes, no. Like, no, I'm not wasting my time on this. I don't need Bellitrium or Chemosite or whatever. It's just like, I've got the Valor here. I'm not going to unfreeze people for this combo, so you can get some legendary Bellitrium on Ultra Nightmare that none of us can complete anymore because we're not spending money on that. Like, people are going to get left in the dust on this. Like, it's not an immediate concern now because we're all working up with it together. Essentially, we are. We're, for the most part. As we're doing it, most of us will coordinate at the time, probably get this done, and then get our rewards, and then we'll walk away. And then the next person that comes up, even though we've got another bridge coming up, we'll move on to the next bridge, the next set of rewards, and the people behind will still kind of go, but we still need it. And as much as the goodwill in the world between Fleet Communication, we're all bastards. We won't do it. I mean, I'm saying
for yourself.
Yeah, well, no, I would, but there is a case of other fleets that it will be a lot harder for people to complete Ultra Nightmare for that one legendary Bellitrium. So maybe they could get that Frantic McCoy or whatever the top reward is that may be useful. So that's my big ugly. Is it leaves people in the dust. There needs to be something addressed with the issues like, can we still get these rewards in an acceptable time frame post when people have completed the Planet Killer?
I am shocked, nay dismayed, that we've gone how many rounds of and no one chat.
Sorry, you cut out there a bit, Stars.
Oh, hang on. I've got a weird thing.
That hair flip was just knocked out the power. It was so.
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about the universal chat. We're not going to talk about the fact that you didn't talk to people on this. You didn't talk to people through the universal chat. You talked to them through Discord.
Mm-hmm.
You use the social network of your. You use Facebook Messenger for fuck's sake.
So
use anything but use.
Can I just something? I think Auto or someone. Star's gone. Someone spotted in the demo that he gave away that someone mentioned the thing. We need to improve the visibility unless they used non-sanctioned tools, and I was just like, oh, that's how it is. You don't like Discord, and you don't like Big Book. Well,
meanwhile, how playable would this game be without outside chat, without data core and Big Book, without DNA spreadsheet, without all these things that
as much as we extol the virtue. As much as we extol the virtue of BigBook.app, which you should all become acolytes of and just chant BigBook.app, how many players out there just don't even know about this? And to your point, like, they're just languishing. They don't know what to do or what to use.
It took how many years for us to get it displayed what a crew will look like when it's finished?
Yeah, that's recent. That's within the last year.
That's really recent.
Yeah.
Until then, you had if you didn't use BigBook.app or look at the stats or like on the communications thing, you wouldn't know what the full stats were. And even then, you have no idea how they stack up against other crew. How do you know if command rank 50 and number one? How do you know what the point difference is? You don't, unless you go and look at external resource and. I challenge someone to use the universal chat to try and coordinate a fleet combo chain. But I challenge you.
It's not that the universal chat is like bad because of the people there. It just functionally does not work. I've had times when people have sent me messages. I've not seen them because they get stored for about 6 hours and then you just don't get the notification anymore. It's just, how does that work? The chat is broken.
The only part about universal chat that works is when you get atted at when you're obviously cheating during a skirmish and people want to tell you that it's skirmish.
Who would do that? I can't think.
Who would possibly?
I've done so much abuse to Idle that got deleted by the server before it reached him. So it's really positive if you think about it.
Saving us from ourselves.
It's self-censoring, that's what it is. Yeah, no, that's my one big ugly, is like the universal chat is like the merit economy. It just is not fit for purpose for this feature. And I know that other games do it. I know that there are plenty of other games that are like, use Discord, use this, we have integrations. Like, yeah, but you should also have a relatively robust, or at least usable chat feature in your online fleet coordinated game. Think about that. Or at the very least, like
And we
some
still
kind of
don't-
integration where you can say, I want to go for this node, so that 3 other people don't unfreeze the same crew and then all hit at the same time, and you are standing with your 100 merits in your hand.
Or just
And
have
we
a
still
sign
don't
that
have a
says-
fleet
sorry.
leaderboard, do we?
No fleet
Yeah, that's
leaderboard
true.
at all. Kind of got one with the boss
Dude.
battles, but yeah.
Big missed opportunity. You think whales are throwing dill at it now? Put up a fleet leaderboard and have SSR go against,
Space Junkies.
Suncoast, whoever else wants to junkies. People will throw dill to be number one at that spot, even with no additional rewards, and they can't be bothered in year 7 to add a
So-
fleet leaderboard to any aspect of this game.
Just to add to that a little bit, because I started the 12-hour voyage leader with the Roy Kirk 12-hour voyage leaderboard. Thank you, Roy Kirk. The leaderboard. Now I've now handed it over to SSR Nolan to manage, and he's doing a fantastic job. But we have had, and I'm now just looking at the data. Christ, he's changed this quite a lot now. I haven't looked at this for quite some time. We've had over 927 entries in the 12-hour leaderboard. Like, that's an achievement in the game. That's a leaderboard that people are interested in. People love to be top of something. People love the competitive element. Why is there not anything like that? There is a little bit with boss battles, but imagine if we put the boss battles fleet against fleet. We say, right, in the last 24 hours, Space Junkies won the Ultra Nightmare amount of damage done. Like, people go nuts for that. You want to earn money? That's how you do it. Trap the whales. Like,
Get the EP going.
absolutely.
Okay, let me throw out my 2 big uglies, and then we'll transition to covering all the news and notes you may have missed from WRG's Ben.
2 big uglies? That's not a nice way to talk about your co-hosts.
I thought you'd like that.
You're not that big.
So number 1 is kind of a missed opportunity, and I put it in ugly because I don't think they're going to go back and visit it. But right now, the whole thing is on rails. Again, there is a benefit to deterministic farming, but that also means that there's no choice involved. Like, there's only one rewards track, and you're going to get it or you're not going to get it. Well, what if you really hate daily shuttles? What if you don't want a one-skill crew because you think they're useless? What if you had a reward tree that branched in? Well, I don't want Scotty. What if I could get a gold sight instead? I bet a lot of people would love the choice. What if I could choose different bonuses instead of... I mean, it's thematic, and like we said, maybe they mix it up in the future, but what if I want 1% command proficiency instead of 1% hull? Can I choose that? No, well, no, not this time. So I don't know if... I doubt they're going to go down that route of giving you even more choice, but I would love it. And I think that's something that is probably a ship has sailed on that. The other thing, I agree with you, Idle. My huge bugaboo, people are going to be left in the dust. If not building this bridge, then what about the next one? A quote from Ben earlier today, the fleet boss battle will not be removed even when we add a new one. Hooray! It will be a few months until the next fleet boss battle will release, and with that one, a new bridge and a whole new progression path will require unique resources from that new fleet boss battle. The resources you're gaining from the Doomsday Machine will not be able to be used. Like you said, Idle, what if I want to finish my first bridge? Can I get 49 other people to join me on Ultra Nightmare to get that single gold, whatever, Blitrium rank 50 that I need to finish? No, you're going to need a lot of help to do that, or you're not going to get it at all. You're going to be hard locked out of those last few levels. Can you get, 20, 30 people in your fleet to abandon getting the new Shiner rewards to go back and help you? No, and you shouldn't need to ask them to do that either. It should be set up so... There are things they could fix. Maybe they remove the timer on old bridges, so you can still grind away with 1 or 2 people on your own and finish that if you want. You would still get the boss completion rewards, but you'd have to throw a lot more of your own valor at it. There are things they could fix, but right now it's looking like people are being left in the dust. Now they might be left in the dust in the future when we add these new shiny rewards, which people are going to want to 100% everything. Even if they want that old one, then they have to miss out on the new one. So that's sort of the tracks. The train tracks are getting a little wavy down there, and I hope they keep laying down new tracks before we, much like this analogy, go off the rails. So a few things, WRG Ben, I want to throw out one at a time, and you guys can just chip in if you have something to say. About this new crew, who we'll cover shortly, I know we keep saying that, the design team wanted to try something special and different for the One Skill Scotty. I would say it will be very uncommon moving forward and rare. What do you guys think about that? Because I love having new unique crew that will be there forever to unlock if I want them.
Yeah, I like I like that we've got something different. We've talked about on forums, and I think probably even on Timelines talks about 2-star 2-seal crew being a thing of the past. We're not going to see their like anymore. But we know that they can be a viable option. So I was wondering when I was listening to Frank talking about I'll have the 6th TOS crew and the great command Kirk, which is totally logical. Absolutely, a single skill Kirk should be way better than Captain Tribble. It's ridiculous. But I'm kind of wondering. When you're talking, Frank, I was thinking they've already said that they know what the next boss battle is going to be. So if they know what the next boss battle is going to be, they've got an idea of what crew they've got. They've either know exactly what they are, or they've got an idea. And we've been again sort of, what might it be, VJR or the station probe or whatever it is. We're trying to work out. So there's bound to be again another some oddball or some great niche crew coming in this next boss battle. So that's why one of the reasons possibly why we're not getting the 6 crew. I think again, I think if you look on chat this evening again, there's a few people saying about the timer. That's absolutely a good thing. That's where is the disbenefit of removing the timer? Who's losing? Anybody? All right,
WRG is losing Dill.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. I mean, is that the only thing that's is it, are they going to get deal from people who go, I don't want to play this anymore because it's impossible, and that's that's what they've got to balance, I guess. And it's been said they're there to make money, so they've got to balance keeping people interested and getting those people that are already interested spending deal. How do we keep Frank? Topping up Ben's pension pot.
He is paying the rent.
I've spent enough on fleet boss battles in the last week. It should be put to rest for a while. And to your point, I love the unique crew aspect of it. When they do, because I know they're gonna do the whale probe boss at some point, because you can't make that a ship and arena or anything. I don't think. You better not. That better be the introduction of Kirk versus the cab, the crew, the double dumbass on you crew. I will pay so much money for that. I'm not even kidding. I've asked for it every time I'm on stream. Every time there's a Q&A, I want that crew. Now, that being said, jokes aside, that's cool, but Otto brings up the big elephant in the room, is that this game has been designed for well over 7 years, because the game itself was in beta before it launched in January of 2016. Nothing has been gated or hidden behind a paywall or unobtainable. Eventually, after a year, crew gets added where a VIP 0 player can get the same thing that I can get, just if they wait a little bit longer. Any player who joins the game today is at an extreme disadvantage over us that have played for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever. Boss Battles introduces a new element to that, because to Otto's point, he said it very eloquently, a new player who joins today or in 6 months is going to be left in the dirt, and they're not going to get that stuff. So, speaking on the topic of crew, this is a great opportunity. Ben and everybody at WRG, put on your thinking caps, because this game is in a unique space. There's not a lot of mobile games that are this long in the tooth, that are still going, still thriving, that are still getting new features and updates and signing on with new licenses. It's kind of unheard of in the space. And it's unique in a not pay to win game, because there's no winning whatsoever. It's a card collection game that constantly,
Man, this game sounds like bullshit.
daily releases new cards. But if you think of somebody like me, if I'm the guy who wants to collect every card in the game, and I took a break, and then I came back, and there's 2 cards I can't have, McCoy and Scotty, because they're on an old boss battle bridge and I can't get them. That sucks. So there needs to be a way. You need to think of a way to make it balanced to where everybody eventually, without, hurting 49 other players or having to pay a stupid amount of money can get these benefits because it doesn't get locked away and shoved in a closet. It's always going to be there.
Okay, I want to run down a few more things from Ben. Things that a lot of players have been asking about. The increased damage taken from the boss that you have to level up as you level your bridge. That is a bug with the text. Yeah. Getting that buff doesn't reduces the damage taken. It doesn't make you take more damage. So they're going to fix the bug on that text. Really, he says, we're looking at increasing the visibility of crew, even crew that are frozen, and the crew select in fleet boss battles, and looking to be able to search multiple traits in cryo. These things take time to develop. We should be able to get most of that included in our next client. Someone asked, can you lock certain boss difficulties to try to focus everyone's attention in a fleet? And he said, we're not looking at locking them, but we're looking at the ability for admirals and officers to recommend battles. And I'm not sure what that means, if that means they're the only ones who can start it, or it's just a little star.
Yeah.
This functionality will not be included in the next client 9.1, but most likely in 9.2. We thought about locking it, but we felt like it could cause certain members of the fleet to be blocked if the admiral locked lower difficulties and they needed to progress. He also says, like I mentioned earlier, when I rudely interrupted stars, they're going to be addressing in the next client, giving credit for combos, the people who complete combos, and making the reward for completing a combo more valuable. So that's sort of the stuff on their radar for their next hotfix session for boss battles.
I think that's probably...
So
sorry,
I can...
Please.
I was going to say, so the flip side of the, what if you lock lower battles so that, like the people who are lower on the totem pole can't do them? Then there's the flip side, which is I think there are one or two players who have started doing Nightmare or Ultra Nightmare on our fleet, and they're like, oh, I don't care about finishing the boss, I just need Magnesite, because that's my bottleneck right now. And even if, I don't even care if the boss destruction threshold gets hit, as long as I hit my personal threshold, it can time out, I still get the Magnesite, and I can get that spring forward. So locking it out, I think, would be counterproductive to both of those styles of play. Making it so that you can recommend it, and mixing that weird bug where like it flips the order around so they're not in a linear difficulty. It's like whatever was started first or last. Is fixing that would be big helpful. In terms of the crew, I'm wondering how they're going to handle release of these. Are these going to be locked forever to Captain's Bridge? Are they eventually going to join the portal?
Well, that's the thing.
I think they'll stay exclusive. I have to imagine they will.
Because that's going to be like that makes it, because they've done a good job of designing these crews so that they are desirable and they will have enduring value. But even Titans must fall, like Captain First Officer Burnham rather, and they eventually degrade in power. I don't know if the game will last long enough for Frantic McCoy to be garbage.
No, because
Voyage rank 10, whatever it is.
We don't have a Voyage rank in the game. There's no command meds, ranking.
Those are unsanctioned metrics outside of the game.
All crew are equal value and are as good as each other. So,
So I'm wondering if there's some kind of way you could have it where instead of having to progress through the Captain's Bridge up to level 12, I think, or 17 is the first one where McCoy appears.
17.
If you could maybe just have it so that like 6 months to a year after Planet Killer is done and everyone has moved on to not just the second but the third, you could have it so you go into the Honor Hall and you can just pay for a Planet Killer Behold, and it opens up, pop, Frantic McCoy, Demo Man Scotty, and fuck it, throw Captain Decker in there. Commodore Decker, rather. Why not? It's all thematically linked.
Captain Decker.
And suddenly a lot of your problems are fixed. And yes, you miss out on the ship boss, like buffs, but they're not. Those are things you can either join a different fleet to go and help with, because like I think Rainer in the chat was mentioning, there's probably going to be fleets popping up that are like, come join us if you want to do normal and easy boss battles. We all need to catch up. And I think we found out from other people that your boss battle buffs and your progress they are locked to you, the user, not the fleet. So if you need to move around fleets so that you can find one that will help you push the one you need to, that is something you can do. Obviously, it's a pain and not something you want to encourage if you are building up this feature that's all about cooperation and building bonds and social ties in your fleet. You don't want to be like, well, I got to leave so that I can actually make some progress on this. Bye, guys. I'll be back in like 9 months, like Auto had to do. Like, this is a rough feature, and like having something that can ameliorate even just the crew, because everything else, let's be real, who gives a fuck about the USS Constellation? It's just another reskinned TOS like Connie, right? But the
Sounds like
crew are
something a
what
planet
people
killer would
really,
say.
really want. I mean, I'm kind of sad that the Constellation doesn't have a special ability that is uniquely good against the Planet Kill. I feel like that's a bit of a missed opportunity. But
like
yes, having some
destroyed.
kind of...
Yeah.
Well, no,
Random
like
speed.
you literally like have a special animation where it drives right into it and then it implodes the impulse engines, and then suddenly you've done like 5% of damage. Yeah. Thank you, Cranky. Nice.
I love that sting.
It's so good. So having a behold that you could do so that you can get at least one copy of the special, unique, super fancy crew would be nice. Like, I know that it will probably cut down on their overheads or whatever, but after 6 or 12 months, it's going to get exponentially harder, and having something that could make it a bit easier would be nice.
Okay, we've been going a tight hour 20 on this. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Everyone give me your final thoughts, starting with the inimitable Walt Koenig.
Final thoughts. I'd probably go with I'd say it's good. Room for improvement. And I think we're probably all wondering what's the next boss battle.
Yeah, when someone said Whale Probe, I thought, how many long cylindrical objects can we make as the final boss of this game?
It will save on their art issues, wouldn't it?
Reskin.
Yeah.
You thought Constellation reskin was bad.
Yeah. I'm personally not in favor of the Whale Probe. I like the fact that they could not fight that thing. It had to be beaten with communication. I feel like it goes against... It's kind of like my problem with the GOM2 boss fight in the Skirmish. I'm like, that shouldn't be a boss fight.
You sound like
What I
someone that's
want-
never played Birth of the Federation.
Yeah, well, yeah, blow up those plague victims, those assholes. I would personally like if we could fight, oh god, what was it? The big descent org ship.
Oh, yeah.
The one that had like, to go through the transport conduits, and they actually had to go into the sun to blow up a coronal flare, and then one of the crew you get is Captain Crusher, and she's a Med
Crusher.
Command beast. That's what I want.
Dude, that was
People
such
saying-
a kit bass. It was such a kit bass ship. That looked like things I would like build with the leftover Legos I had. When I was a kid.
There you go for extra happy blowing it to pieces. Then that's what I would want. Like, I think TNG bridge is the most
say Lego?
obvious move.
Can we
would
fight a
also
giant
be
Mae
cool-
Jameson?
Jack Ransom's head is right there.
Yeah.
What would be a cool one is at the moment the Planet Killer completely ignores evasion and cloaking. I would like it if we could have a boss battle that takes advantage entirely of cloaking or of evasion. Like maybe you fight the swarm of all the tiny little ships from Voyager, and you need to have a high evasion to have a good chance of avoiding them, and then you get like memory right dock and something else like that. If you can make each of these boss battles thematically different, and the bridges have different buffs according to that, like I feel like that would be a nice value add, and it would mean that you'd look back through that tab of all the available boss fights from old to new, and you go like, man, that was a nicely put together long scale event kind of, and it was all thematically tight. Like we talk about this with Megas a lot, where it's like how thematically tight were the crew, how good was the theming. It's like being able to do that over and over with boss battles where it's like a really tight theme. I would really appreciate that. It makes it feel more like a Star Trek thing.
Frank?
Theming is a very important takeaway, because if you stick to a theme, you can have success and people will enjoy it. People will show their appreciation with money, buy dilithium, or with time. There's a lot of missed opportunities, but there's a lot of room for improvement. Again, you'll hear that a lot. Cisco in chat says, hey, I just wish my IKS Bortas was worth something. I bought that thing and maxed it out knowing this was coming, thinking that that was going to be the killer and I'd be able to lead my fleet on to victory. And guess what? I used the artifact. The Bortas sucks. So next time you put a 1.3 million honor ship in the honor hall, make it like the coolest ship and the best ship in the game that needs something, because otherwise... why'd I spend $1.5 million honor on that thing?
Because you don't need any crew, Frank. That's why you did it.
That's true. But they keep releasing more. Gotta have more.
Okay.
Okay, you guys...
Alright, Idle.
You guys are
Overall,
missing out on the best boss ship of the world. Like, what you tell me, like in all of Star Trek, what is the original space boss ship? And if you're not saying V'Ger, you're just wrong. Like, you gotta fight V'Ger at some point, and all you see is just a gigantic cloud, an image of Spock tripping out, and then just flying into its.
What? Not giant Ilea with the little voice box jewel? Yeah.
Find photon torpedoes into her throat.
You need them big sounds and big bassy notes as well.
Oh, there's an instrument for that. Have you seen? Yeah, that's
great. I don't think my phone will play them sort of sounds.
But overall, I like it. I can't. There are a lot of faults with it, which we've mentioned. A lot of good, bad, and ugly. But I am enjoying interacting with it. I just want them to address like possibilities for the future, leaving people behind, and numerous bugs we've encountered on the way, and just make it worth our time. I am enjoying the social aspects. That's kind of been the biggest thing for me is talking to people, working things out, and sort of general interaction. But yeah, like everything we've mentioned, it needs fixing. But I am enjoying it. So yeah, those are my final thoughts.
Yeah, the future has a very bright future, but when I see answers like, we're discussing with the team what's going to happen so that people don't get left behind, it's like, well, I know you guys hate roadmaps, but that should have kind of been thought about already and should be your number one priority right now, because the longer that waits, the more drastic a change you're going to have to make to fix it so the players can catch up. And what happens if someone joins in 6 months and they have 0 level bridge on this Doomsday machine? How long is it going to take them to get the crew that they want? So that's definitely should be one of their top priorities.
Everyone's already off fighting Ransom's head and getting that copy of Drunk Mariner that we all wanted.
So let's go ahead and talk about those 2 exclusive crew then individually.
Let's put a bow on the fleet boss battles. So we'll probably talk about this more as things come out. Yes, let's move over to our other display. And yes, I'm having to go 5 wide in a really awkward way on the display, but let me just tweak something there. Right. Let's talk first up about...
By the way, Walt Koenig is the designated flavor man tonight because he went ahead and manuscript out all the flavor ahead of time.
Okay. Very first one. Let's go for Demo Man Scotty, please, Walt.
After rigging a delayed... I can't do Alto's accent, that's trouble. After rigging a delayed detonation device, Scotty is about to beam back to the Enterprise, leaving Kirk face to face with the Doomsday machine.
One skiller. We've got a one skiller in the game after we got
Scotty is doomed to get one skillers until the game ends.
Look at his expression, he's just like, again? Says everything. That being said, he's number 1 engineering. Rafu, just airlock him now. You don't need him anymore. You've got Scotty.
By the way, shout out to my homie Ada Ruafo for 4 years at the top of the engineering.
Yeah.
When we saw him do like no engineering on the actual movie.
Those skin treatments really worth it.
Look at that terrible Voyage ranking though. Horrific. Look at that.
You're not going to be voyaging with him. He's a shuttle. He's a shuttle monster. Also, which we don't have listed on screen enough to get Namer to tweet me up for ship battle statistics on this, but he has 16,000 crit bonus at, I don't know what the initialization is. I didn't know.
10 attack at 6 seconds with 16,000 crit bonus. Very viable there, as is Frantic McCoy.
Thematic. It's theming.
It is theming. Yes.
Okay, let's, since we are 5 wide, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs.
Red alarm. Red alarm.
I can't say the name. Pharaonic Z. Pharaonic Z. Oh, yeah. Thank you for following. Go on.
Pharaon 7. That's what I'm going with.
That makes more sense.
12.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, whatever. No, it's the conversion
United
rate.
States education system's already rubbed off on it.
It's the conversion rate. It's 6 or it's 7 over here. All right, give me a quick thumbs up, thumbs down. Oh my god!
Don't feel great. Do it.
Don't wait for the translation. Answer me now.
Thank you for following.
On the idea of a second one skill, Scotty, irregardless of whether or not you think this is a good crew, a thumbs up or thumbs down on using 2 Scotty variants for a 1 skiller.
Oh,
we're split.
I like
You're the
crew.
okay. The tie has been broken.
Yeah.
Scotty should have, Scotty was always should always have been the 1 skill monster engineer. That was like Bones gets the 1 skill monster med. Had to be Scotty, surely.
This is the one time.
It's designed
Go
for.
on. This is the one time I'm going to disagree with the Big Book rankings because I think, like, and again, you're adjusting things, but like I think obviously he's going to be in shuttles forever. He's going to be used in arena, in skirmish, in boss battles, which is a new metric I think we've yet to account for. He's probably going to get events. He's let down. He's got 2 collections. He's going to get let down on maybe regular shuttles because of the traits, or regular. Obviously he's not going to be voyagers, but I think he's worth more than tier 5. I think he's more than the sum of his parts, despite that one skill. I think this is Captain Tribble territory. This is more than Captain Tribble territory because he's got a lot more worth outside of it. We need
That's
to
not
start
how
considering...
shuttles work, Idle, and you know that.
Yeah, you have about 2.5 times as many command seats as Eng seats, so Tribble should ride a lot more.
And Scotty does not have a great event history.
Well, true. That's my thoughts.
Here's my only real issue with him. So you're making a new feature. You're debuting the new feature. He's from the episode. He is an exclusive crew. You obviously want to make him unique and powerful. You give him 2 traits. Because Human Federation Starfleet don't count as traits in this game, let's be honest. You give him 2 traits. You couldn't throw in Desperate in there. He rigs a one-shot device to blow up his captain. Meanwhile, Spock is losing command back on the Enterprise, and that's just like another day for Scotty. He's not bothered at all. Now, come on, he's a little desperate. Throw in 1 or 2 other traits. Go the extra mile for a crew like this, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. He is far too similar to Captain Scott. And Captain Scott is just, at this point, that card has no use. He is a +1 on a collection, but even then, he's the absolute last choice because there's nothing else to do with him.
You actually don't need
the only good thing about it is the art.
You don't need him to finish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's the last choice in every respect. Like, he turns up in a Behold, and you just kind of... No. I've talked about this problem before with Uhura, and Uhura at least has the shot of like Stranger Worlds of like bolstering her variant thing. The TOS crew did not get out of uniform very often. They did not get a chance to put on silly outfits and go to the holodeck. Don't waste variants on one skillers. Don't waste variants on like incredibly similar crew. Like we have like 15 Uhuras who are all command dipsec of various different. It's like, give them something a little bit different. When can we get engineering jumpsuit Uhura? When can we get drunk diplomacy Eng Med Scotty from with the Kelvins? I think it was.
Yeah, with the Kelvins. That one's so good.
I know that this is thematic, and I understand it's a good choice, but you couldn't have given him Eng Sec so that like he's literally wrecking a demo device. It's an explosion. Is that not security?
That's very true. Actually, it's in the name.
It's in
Unless
the
he's
name.
rigging out some hot mixtapes. He's like demo man.
And also, it would have been nice to maybe give him a bit of gauntlet thing because they did for McCoy. Like maybe have because thematically, I always like to think that the gauntlet capability is meant to represent that this is a crew that takes a lot of risks, and it's a case of representing that high risk, high reward type thing. So this is like the ultimate. This could have gone very wrong. Kirk nearly gets blown to pieces because of this. So giving him some gauntlet would have go nuts. Give him a 700 to 1800 gauntlet roll and see what happens. Fuck it.
Wow.
Why not?
I think he'd start voyaging with that score.
Probably.
Would that not be insane? Would that not be hilarious? Would you not use him for that?
Yeah,
I mean,
I use Mitchell, so yeah, definitely use him.
Watch. Stats wise, at least he is usable. Like,
Yeah.
they did right to not put any duds in the initial. But yeah, I don't want to misquote him here, but Ben's saying, I would say it would be very uncommon and rare to have a crew this unique. I don't know if he specifically meant one skillers, but
Which is fine.
put the unique crew there. Like,
Yeah,
fine.
I think it's fine to make them a special occasion. I like that, and I like this. Yeah.
These are sour grapes. These are gripes on behalf of
Yeah.
Scotty, who had to wait like 6 years to get Triple Scotty, who was halfway decent. That's how long it took to get a good one. I'll always fight for my boy. But otherwise, yeah, he's a well-designed crew. Like, if you're gonna do a one skiller, this is the way to do it. So kudos to them. And it's guess what? This is a good episode of TOS. They made the right choice for making this the original boss battle.
Clarification from Ben and Chad says he only meant one skillers. They're probably not going to do very often, which, sorry, Frank, there goes your dream of all the one skillers.
But what about 1-star crew? Anyway, let's move on to the other rule.
The 1-star boss battle exclusive at level 20.
Oh,
Right-click, disconnect idle. There we go.
It's been nice knowing you. Right, the other bonus crew. Another McCoy in a blue shirt, but he's tier 1. Void rank 29 with some amazing gauntlet stats, some great traits, and a decent, good skill order. Yeah, this is the one we want.
Walt?
Dr. McCoy is not happy with Commodore Decker's decision to attack the Doomsday Machine.
Now, if you ask me, the phrase not happy screams diplomacy primary. So I'm glad they got that bang on in this case.
I think the better word would be incredulous, wouldn't it?
I just appreciate.
It's like,
I appreciate this is the absolute example. If you were to ever give a phrase and say, "Have you ever seen artwork that you can just hear? A picture that you can hear."
Yeah.
You look at this picture and you you can hear Divorce Kelly going, "And what the hell do we tell it to do with itself, man?" And it's at least if it's going to be another McCoy in blue, at least it's a great pose and not him with hips on shoulder, hips on hip. You know,
a pretty good crew as well. That's the other thing we like. Good crew.
Yeah, it's been a while since we had a good McCoy. Like the one skill was ubiquitous, but very much limited. The last good voyaging McCoy would have been what, Tribble.
Oh, Tribble.
Yeah, Torpedo wasn't even that good when he came out.
He was okay.
They were both like kind of low. They were right, but they weren't great.
But this guy, this man.
If there was any TOS crew that should be allowed to say fuck, it should be McCoy. Like his arena ability, so it says Spock, fucking do something.
He's a Southern gentleman. He would never slap a woman. He would never drop an F-bomb.
I'm pretty sure he might have manhandled a woman in the original series.
That's the joke, Idol.
Sorry.
You fake fan.
I'm going to shut up now.
All right, so props to them for pairing. You have Voyage Gauntlet in one package here. You have Shuttle with Scotty. So kind of something for. They're both good on ships. I think the only thing missing would be like a 15 traded crew for a collection monster, but they did real good spreading the love around the different game systems here.
It's hard to improve on somebody that you have to go all the way through 15 levels of Captain Bridge to get. This is, I mean, you could add a few more bells and whistles to him, but this is a pretty good carrot to dangle.
Let's just hope.
Between the ship ability, the gauntlet, the voyage, the traits are really good as well, actually.
Let's just hope by the time we actually get to him, he's not been outclassed by the latest Tuesday pack or something like that. Or when they.
I mean, he's on the later losers curve, right? I think it would take at least a few years for him to be bad.
I looked at that curve for a while. I need to check that out.
Yeah, that's a good point because these are not the stats you're getting. You're getting these ranks in 5 months from now, probably. Well, depend on 3-5 months, whatever. Notably,
let
he's
me
the
just head over to bigbook.app and have a look at his voyage rank projections.
Let's all do that now.
Yeah, in 6 months he will be voyage rank 37. In 4 years he will be voyage rank 195.
What?
Trash.
Nah.
He's
In 4
unlikely
years.
to. He's not unlikely to slip down far in Gauntlet rankings, though, isn't he? I think
No, they
Big
age quite
Book
well.
has him at 5. Cab has him at 3.
They seem to
Come on,
have
man.
reserved. They seem to have reserved Gauntlet Bangers for exclusive crews. So yeah.
So he's still going to
could
be
probably-
a Gauntlet monster in.
Yeah.
Like most of our Gauntlet crew, they're still Gauntlet monsters 3-4 years down the line, aren't they? So.
Well, yeah, when we pour one out for Captain Beverly Picard because she is now abjectly useless.
Absolutely waste of honor. Which is
Hey
sad.
man, cyberneticist is coming sooner or later.
Yeah, neurologist. It's not her. That's
She's not even that.
Mirror, I'm thinking of Mirror Beverly. Yeah. So.
Yeah, she's more
Dang it.
useful.
Geneticist, yes.
In a 3 months' time, when the pointing collection comes out, you're all going to eat crow, and they're going to go run and throw
I'll have my 10
100,000
times
honor
back
at
and I'll
her.
be like, yeah.
No, this is the Holding Invisible Fruit Crew collection.
Yes, in case you missed it in the pre-show, there was some incredible photoshops done of him juggling Hey Jim, I caught a fish that was this big. It's a pretty memeable pose, which is
And
always
you
on
can
point
see
in
many
favor
more
of
of
the group.
those in our sub-only channel on Discord.
Absolutely.
So
Thank
if you want to
Craig.
subscribe for the children. By the way, Idle, you gave an update recently about
Oh,
the
it did, yes.
big lockbox of money we have tucked away for our next charity stream.
Do. Let me just quickly pull up my announcements. So yes, I've been posting on the announcements on our Discord of the regular payments we get through Twitch, because you guys do subscribe and you do post money, and we've always said that 100% of that goes towards the next charity show. We just had another payment. We're up to a total for the next charity show already of £133.19. So already, like, we're not talking about charity shows till probably like next March, April. Maybe we'll do one sooner if this keeps up the pace, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you everyone for subscribing. So that's our current totals. Anyway,
You know, Great Britain's kind of on a timeline. If you guys melt away in 6 weeks, there may not be another charity stream to do. So
yeah.
I'll GM another special SDA session from my iceberg.
Yes.
we'll be on Vulcan.
There'll be icebergs then. Anyway.
Before we
We'll
move
be
on,
underwater.
Before we move on from McCoy, it is notable he's the only crew in the game who hits a plus 12 attack boost. So, even though this boss battle may be a little bit on the shorter side because you can't cloak or evade, future ones, you may want to use him for a long time.
Oh god, can you imagine a boss that cloaks? So you have to kind of time your attacks? That would kill auto, wouldn't it? Not auto,
You know what would be
it
cool?
kill auto, the function in the game, wouldn't it?
One of the DS9 fights could be you have to defend DS9 from the Klingon fleet.
That's exactly what I was
Constantly
thinking.
cloaking and recloaking. That'd be really
Yeah.
cool. Like from Way of the Warrior. That'd be awesome.
Every difficulty adds a ship.
Oh come on, this is
I'd
Star
like
Trek
that.
Legacy.
Six
I don't
Klingon.
think they have that in there.
You can't wait to get back to that game. I
Cannot
know it.
wait. I think we're doing that next week, I think, aren't we? Yeah, well, anyway, we'll
think
get
so,
to that at
yeah.
the end.
Look forward to it.
Okay, moving on. We didn't talk about this when she debuted, but let me find her. Puppy placated
They.
Janeway. Sorry?
When they debuted.
Yes, there's multiple people in multiple objects in this. Yes, Puppy placated. You really threw me there. Puppy placated Janeway is this month's Uber campaign reward. We did talk about this because I remember we spoke about the quite slightly questionable art. We've already spoken about her, and I brought up Disguised Janeway. Do you not remember
Well,
this?
Walt already wrote down the flavor text, so let's
Okay,
at least
go on,
cover
Walt.
that part.
Oh,
Read that
no, I
and-
didn't for Janeway. I didn't have Janeway written down.
One job on this lousy ship. It's stupid, but I'm going to do it. With Q's persistent attempts to pursue Janeway romantically, he aims to win her heart by sharing his vulnerability and a puppy.
Okay, well, since it was me, Stars, and Racing that spoke about this one, Frank, Walt, Auto, give us your thoughts on whether you think this is worth you opening the wallet where you would spend on Valor to spend it on this instead.
I'd just like to point out her ship ability is literally says, I'm not buying it. So
That's meta humor right there.
When the campaign is centered around Janeways who holistically don't have good representation in the game, whether if you like Catherine Janeway, if you don't like Catherine Janeway, you think she's the best represented crew in the game. It's arguable which is the best one. Is it Candy Stripe, Candy Corn Janeway, or is it this one? And it's neat. It's cool.
Clearly Captain Janeway, so you can make Evolve Paris and celebrate Threshold in all its glory.
There you go. The greatest Trek episode. The greatest Trek moment.
It makes Evolve Janeway idol.
What did I say?
Paris.
Oh,
You
yeah.
said Evolve Paris.
I mean, yeah. Quid pro quo.
It's fine. English isn't his first language.
It's a skill order that's cool.
Durchschnitt.
Pepperoni!
Thank you.
God, I'd love a pepperoni pizza with Bavarian olives right now. I'm starving!
I for once in my life, I'm without words for this crew because it's like, if I were to skip a campaign, maybe this one.
I've got the words exactly that, Frank. My views are, skill set like Dexa, but I don't think she's not Dexa.
No.
The traits aren't very interesting, and they're like very, they're a bit okay. They're Janeway traits, but nothing really exciting or special there. Where's the collections? And I've got the last 4 Uber campaigns, all 4, and this might be the one that I do miss. I think I'll be going for the premium because I don't have candy corn. You know, I know Look will be happy for Janeway lovers, but you know, a lot the you know, I'm likely to miss this one. She got a decent Voyager, but you know, again, that's sort of limited. Sort of, maybe that skill set, she'll probably get quite a few. Again, if you got, I think most people have Dexa now, so she's so strong. So I'm not sure whether she'll get that many Voyagers.
Having fun, Idle.
I am having a great amount of fun. It's really similar similar art to Disguised Janeway, like real close. Like this is the same artist, and this sorry, I'm so sorry because I hate to be overly critical. It doesn't really look like Janeway. It's
a little bit airbrushed. It reminds me of those like the Playmates style like action figures where the quality would vary quite a bit on the faces. Reminds me a bit of those. I have to say, I don't. The skill set is nice, like but it's not quite what you want for a Janeway because like she gets a ton of events, and you're not going to get a ton of med seats in a Janeway faction, which is like her thing. It'd be like getting a med command. It'd be like getting a med psi Kirk. It's like that's nice, but it doesn't really correlate too much in terms of events. Also, doesn't make a lot of sense with the scene. Like, yeah, I guess med for taking care of the puppy, but Eng from what? Doing what? Dealing with Q's bullshit? That's usually a thing reserved for diplomacy.
No, she got them spayed straight after. That's like
they could have thrown. She does hand the puppy back and say she doesn't want him, but they could have thrown in caregiver if they wanted to be healthy with the traits. They could have done one or more, sure.
Yeah, very trait line. Not very many. Well, only one collection that's absolute.
Well,
I did love reading the announcement for it, and they were like, "This crew is in one collection. This crew is in one collection. This crew is in two." It's like, I see.
Tell me your notifications are automated without telling me your notifications are automated.
We actually do. We need to record those. And
red alarm.
Thank you, holographic.
Red alarm.
For every new crew, we need to record like one collection, and then just play that instead of the.
Fascinating. All right.
If you had to pick a Janeway to make like a tier 1 crew, who'd you pick? One that we haven't got.
Workforce Janeway.
Okay.
Only because I saw that earlier.
I'll say, and this is probably too deep of a pull, but Fury Janeway, where the invisible aliens are drilling into her head, and she flies Voyager right through the bleeping sun and out the other side, even though Tuvok is like, this is stupid, and she's like, Tuvok, do it, and he just shuts his mouth. He's like, all right, she means business. So her, like, on the bridge with this, like, furious look on her face and all, like, bedraggled from not having slept, make her, like, something, I don't know.
What about...
I'd like that.
Year of Hell Janeway or something?
Oh,
we got a Year of Hell.
Already have a...
We have determined Janeway.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Is that determined, is it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
She's got all the scarring on her face from the Delta radiation she got when she was going into the damaged decks. I would love Counterpoint Janeway, probably with like her in the top drinking coffee. I would love like a bit of Dip, bit of Eng, bit of Psy. Maybe make her a Gauntlet crew. I fucking love Counterpoint. It's such a good episode. Like Kate Mulgrew is at her absolute best, and you can tell she's like absolutely loving the part. And also, we don't have any of the crew from the DS9 Voyager thing who aren't wearing the overshirt. Like, I always appreciated the fact that you had like the grey turtleneck underneath. It was always a kind of a dignified look. Go for that. I'd like that Janeway.
What about... I've forgotten already. Shit, which one was it? It was Janeway from... No, it keeps coming in at my mind. Oh, that's right. Woken up in the middle of the night, Janeway, when she's been interrupted the communications that she wasn't expecting, but was expecting enough to get her hair done really nicely and wearing some tasty lingerie. That Janeway.
Yeah, that pink number.
Yeah, where she's just woken up and she's just fabulous. But she's just been sleeping. Give me that Janeway.
If they could debut Counterpoint Janeway somehow with Kashyyyk, her love interest in that episode, I think that would really be a hot pairing.
There's a new bridge. There's a Voyager bridge.
I wouldn't mind that.
All right.
And all this opportunity on Janeway, why not a good Chakotay?
No, we only print bad Chakotay's.
I've just thought of the Janeway that I mean. Look in chat said about Billiards Janeway, where she's
that'd be fun.
Nothing's in a dream. But Genevieve Bujold Janeway. That's the one you haven't got.
Oh yeah.
Cheers, Janeway.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, I did a
Janeway.
fake crew of her, and it was not kind.
Nice. All right. Let's
Transatlantic
go
accent.
on. Let's move on and talk about no, not them. Not how about the cat you put out last night because they were misbehaving? Vidala Elder, the new #1 Voyager, Command Med, no less. We've actually got someone at the top of the ranks that's a decent skill set, is a powerful crew, but is from a relatively unknown TAS episode called The Jihad. So.
Yeah, I've got this one ready. She gathered the expedition to retrieve the stolen soul of LR and prevent the score from starting a holy war.
Memory Alpha Steel.
Yeah, it's a little bit reworded there, but who wants to sit and watch Taz? So.
Technically 4 collections. Diplomat, Cultural Figure, Resourceful hasn't got animated yet, but should hopefully, I would imagine they will put that in.
They're so slow to add them, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a baller crew. This is what we wanted all this time when we're saying stop printing top Command Dipsec crew. Give us some rare things like Command Med or Eng Med, and here it is.
Hold on. Before we hop into this, Hair Flips Redeemed. This is going to be a good one, especially with Frank on. How much dill will I spend on Vidala Elder? Keep in mind, from the splash screen we saw, there will be 3 golds in the pack with the Elder, meaning you have a 3.3 repeating % chance
Pull up that image.
of pulling her, same as a Tuesday pack. Will anyone here be adding stars?
That's dirty. That's real.
I would rather crawl through a skirmish with glass on the ground with my flies unzipped than delve into that 6-pack, thank you.
So is that just 20 packs then in stars?
Famously,
how many will they? How many should they?
If she was a wolf, how many packs would it be?
I mean, if it's Mokbara Wolf, I didn't pull any packs for him because that art was bad, so, I'm Pickle. I got him, but only from the event.
The Werf, you mean?
Hello, it is the Werf.
The Werf.
I have very famously said I refuse to try in skirmishes. God bless those of you who do. Whoever here may have won like 9 or 10 of them. I don't know, somebody. This will be the first skirmish that I actually hook up an IV bag to my arm full of Bang energy drink, and I am gonna go for top 30, I guess, because I need a lot of copies. Because I wanted 3 copies, but 3 fully fused copies. I almost refused to go pack chasing, and so I just need 3. But top 30, top 75, somewhere in there, you're gonna see my name on the leaderboard if I don't die. We'll see.
That's what finally pushes you over the edge. This is perfect for me because me, Idle, and possibly Auto and Big are going to be doing our Strange New World Season 1 wrap-up soon. And this is perfect material to grind for while I watch that, so I can just be tinkling on that, and I will kill anyone who gets in my way.
There will be no survivors.
No, Lieutenant Yar.
No, get out of here, Lieutenant.
You're mixing your shows.
To be a top 10 Voyager. That'll be a top 10er,
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I want this.
At this
crew.
rate?
I just hope, right? So this is always the fear. Now we're going in the era of WRG going into people want new voyages, people want these rare skill sets. That's great, we do want that, we want these useful crew. Is this going to be a case where they're just going to keep one-upping, which I can't blame them for, and I don't think especially that is a bad thing. But I think for the people that are wondering, am I going to get my money's worth out of this, or I say money's worth, time's worth out of this crew, of the time you'd have to skirmish and the crons you'd have to invest, it's an absolute yes. But there is always that concern.
You asked this question as if it hasn't already been answered. They've replaced the top 10 top #1 Voyager 9 times over the last few months or whatever.
But the exception
it was
here,
Fencing Picard, and then it was Camping Archer and Porthos. Now it's this one. It's only going to happen at an ever increasing rate when they realize it works.
Absolutely. The exception here is that this is not Command Dip or Command Psi. This is Command Med, which is.
So you're justifying their tactics, I see.
I am justifying what I want out of this crew. I'm kind of hoping that I'm putting the crons in and I want to get the value. Yeah, but yeah, you are right. There is the ample chance that this crew could get replaced by someone better in about 6 months' time. And
weeks.
or weeks, or middays.
Incidentally, for those of you who are in need of ship booms because fleet boss battles are becoming more of a thing, Chuffed Captain will be available at the 400,000 VP mark for those of you who do not have a copy and do not wish to retrieve your first.
Speaking
Just thought
of
I'd throw that out there.
cat creatures hunched over in the exact same pose.
Yeah, the TAS people had the other type, didn't they?
Yeah, and including
So-
the colourblind person that made everyone pink.
Notably, No Name Namer made a thread last year, I think, complaining about the post-Waddle winter season.
Yeah.
We were getting like Voyage 280 on the regular, dip base, whatever on the regular. No strong crew in sight. We are now in the summer season, baking under the Tier 1 sun, just like folks around the world. Captain Braxton was a #1 Voyager for 3.5 years. And in the 8 months since that ended, we've averaged a Voyager above him each month. There are 8 Voyagers above Braxton after he was like the be-all, end-all. So they definitely cranked that up. I wonder when it will stop or slow down.
I hope it.
I'm not particularly complaining, but it's a huge shift in philosophies and an interesting one.
It is better than us going, oh yay, it's crew number 234. Wow, like this is a better state of us to get excited and look at crew, and you can pick and choose which #1 Voyager you want these days instead of hoping and wishing that the number 30 Voyager you got is going to be useful in about 6 months' time.
Yeah,
Braxton is crap. Freeze him.
I did. Thank you. Thank you for validating.
Don't
me.
listen to them. Don't listen to them.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I'm never usually a big skirmish event player anyway, because obviously the time and effort it takes doesn't always work for like myself. And so I probably won't be pushing at all. They're great crew. Streets ahead of very already better than Tana and Benga that have come out recently. The best command med they've had for a while, and miles better than Bridal Troy and Pollard and Reverend Phlox. Think back. It wasn't so long ago. Reverend Phlox was, a must-have crew. For command med, and now the crew does just blow them out of the water. But yeah, I've got, and a lot of us will have because of giveaways and campaigns and stuff. Some of the top voyages already, Enterprise Pike, 2024 Picard. If you get the campaigns, crew like Reno, God bless him, Raven Elnor, debuted really high up in the ranks.
I'll stop for Elnor, even if no one else will.
For people that need that Romulan seat filled, there's him and Bloomin' Laris. That's kind of it. So that there's plenty of good high rank voyages that people will have a lot of. I've probably got at the top 10. I've probably got 6, 7, 8 of them. So is this one that everyone should go for? Well, definitely worth getting. If they're not gonna harm anyone's roster. But if you only get 1 or 2, then you're probably waiting for the next on a sale for the sites, unless. People like, I think Idle, you probably keep a big pack of 20 sites just obviously ready.
I've got a running limit, yeah, I've got a little bit sitting on the table just in case.
But yeah, so again, yeah, it won't be the end of the world for people if they miss out.
Just to riff off this Cisco and chat, what if they put Braxton in an event, kind of like they're coming up with Chuff Captain, put him in an event alongside a new crew, but upgrade his stats to be the #1 Voyager again, and just give the explanation that he used his time ship to go back and change his debut stats. If they did that, what would your reaction be?
Yes, I would love that. Yes, please. Just for the sheer meta commentary on it.
Nah, you know what I'd want more? I would want him to be featured in a skirmish, and it puts in the USS Relativity, and it has an ability called the Omega-13, and it rewinds the arena boss battle, but every damage that you did to them come
exactly 13 seconds.
Exactly 13 seconds.
Can we start referring to our timeline of timelines as BB before Braxton and AB after Braxton, from when he got dethroned by Fencing Picard? Because I feel like that's when the shift happened. I think we are in the year of our Lord's 2022 AB. Okay. Very quickly, moving on, something a little bit of breaking news. Beep, 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 beep. A picture has just been placed up on various places on the internet by our wonderful community manager, Shan, featuring the next, what possibly is going to be the next recurring crew. It's a Badgie. It is what looks like the evil Badgie, not,
Can he teach you a lesson?
Yeah. Can I teach you a lesson? What's the name of the guy that voices him? He's from 30 Rock.
Can I teach you a
Jack
lesson?
McBrewer.
Jack McBrewer. Is it Jack? No. Is it?
I don't know. I just made that up.
I'm going to use a wonderful thing called...
No, it's Kenneth something?
Sometimes a captain must give the appearance of confidence.
Yes.
Played by Jack McBrayer.
Oh, Jack McBrayer. Okay, I was completely wrong.
Close.
Exit Felix.
Oh, the next mega crew is not Badgie. Oh, where did this art come from then? Oh, okay.
Womp, 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 womp.
Who posted this up? I found this somewhere. Who posted this up? Who is leading me astray?
I know Ben put it in his Q&A today.
Oh, is it about little mega event tease? But he's not. Oh, it actually says in the description. It is not the mega event crew. But interesting.
Could it be Honor Hall?
Well, we know there's a Lower Decks Mega coming up, and we have Jack Ransom there. So, yeah. It may just be one of the crew. Okay. Now, I think when Ben dropped in on our chill stream that one Saturday, he said that there was going to be 2 badges, one, or maybe it was before that. One was legendary, and then one was blue, which we already have. So this should be a legendary badgie for whatever that's worth.
So maybe not the mega recurring, but maybe in the mega, or maybe like you say, the honor.
Would make sense. Badgie's the one everyone knows. Even if you've not seen Lower Decks, most people in the Star Trek community have found Badgie by this point, and they understand.
Yes. Oh yes. Anyway, let's move on to where's my show notes? Oh my god, I'm stuck without them. Hang on. There they are.
2 left to cover.
There are 2 left.
Oh, it's Mariner. Mariner's going to be the recurring.
Oh, okay.
Ben said it's the one that's looking at Badgie, i.e. there's a reflection on him, which you can see that looks like Mariner. Although I don't think she interacted with Badgie in the episode, did she?
She did not.
It was
only
relevant
Season 3 spoilers.
How
could you?
Timeline's originals.
Well, it's a cute little... it's a cute way to do your reveal, if so. That's really cute.
Okay. Shall we talk about, very briefly, Lieutenant Command... No, we're not going to talk about it. Should we talk about Ortegas very quickly? Glad she's in the game.
Yeah, why not?
How about the fact that she's got the wrong rank?
Oh, not
Again.
Another one. Oh, yeah, she's not Lieutenant Commander. She's Lieutenant. Like, Lieutenant Commander Spock is not Lieutenant Commander. He is a Lieutenant.
He's not.
Lieutenant Commander Ortegas is a Lieutenant. It's the wrong rank.
It's the wrong rank.
Old.
Sorry, I'm just getting up. Helmsman of the USS Enterprise under Captain Pike's command, she brags about being the best pilot to graduate the academy.
Quick, someone tell me if she's got a good ship ability.
She doesn't.
It's evasion, so no.
She has resourceful. There you go. She's command sub deck. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, she's like much like Hemo in my view. Fine. Yeah. Okay.
She is. Ortegas is no Strange New World spoilers, by the way. Ortegas is awesome. I do really like
She's
Ortegas,
amazing.
so I'm glad.
I
She's
want
good.
episode 8 Ortegas like I need life.
Hell
It's
yes.
that meme, Tom Paris, the cooler Tom Paris.
Yes.
I love Tom Paris a lot. I love his Ark and Voyage, but Ortegas is kind of cooler.
Yeah, just a touch. All right, let's move on before the spoiler brigade comes out. But let us talk about Commander Ransom, the new crew that was announced today. The first in what looks like to be a Lower Decks Mega. Hey, we can't. You're happy to see it. Sorry, brains and words are failing. Command Sec Dip, Voyage ranked 36. Tier 5, no collections. What a shame.
With these stats, I'd almost expect him to be the recurring, even though. Yeah. That's rather material.
Suspiria, come on.
Flavor text.
I was thinking of trying to Scott, but fair enough.
Respect the sanctity of the flavor text, gentlemen.
Jack Ransom is the USS Cerritos first officer under Captain Freeman. Has broad shoulders, shiny hair, and where was I going with this?
Amen.
Okay,
Quite
Auto, you've got to
good
confirm for me now. That's tier 1 flavor text.
Folks, Timeline Stalks exclusive sneak peek on the upcoming Big Book flavor tier. He will be tier 1, yes.
Yes, it's amazing.
Very good.
They realize they're allowed to have fun with flavor text, but it took them until Lower Decks for them to realize it. So.
It's very good.
Yeah,
Almost as if it
the
was
thing
written...
I can't finish off Idle.
I was going to say almost as if it was written by Mariner from the episode, which is so ethical.
Yeah, the thing I picked up, obviously, Command IPSec, like, okay, yeah, whoop-de-doo. And it's not terrible, but I just looked, all of a sudden I'm looking at shipability. I went, shipability, initialize, 15 seconds. Right, he's useless. I'm not interested.
Yeah, and it's called Here We Go Showtime, and then I can just picture him like standing there while other people charge off to battle, and he's waiting for 15 seconds.
Yes.
It's only like a 1500 crit as well. It's like, okay, I'm using someone else that's given me like 10,000 in like 5 seconds.
Ransom is absolutely a hero, and he is absolutely brutal. In that brutal things happen to his crotch when he turns into an extra dimensional being.
Look at that pose. How is that not the pose of a hero? That's a tier 1 pose.
Yeah,
That's a tier 1 flavor text. I mean,
Riker would be proud of that pose.
Yes.
Yeah, so
good lead,
Is he a Riker or is he a Kirk or is he meant to be a parody of both? Which one do you feel like is a more accurate parody of? Yeah.
He's close to Riker, but you could take Riker seriously sometimes.
I always felt that Riker was like, the Kirk, the elements of Kirk that Picard couldn't do. He could be the lady killer. So.
Do you think he's related to Captain Ransom? Do you think that's going to come out?
That'd be a bit of a downer if that came up, though.
I could actually see Lower Decks doing that pull. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it would.
My deadbeat dad.
my cousin Rudy.
He was always the wrong one. And then he just does a Family Guy cut to like Rudy Ransom just strangling one of those aliens.
Yeah, do the whole Peter and Chicken 3-minute fight sequence with Captain Ransom and one of the portal aliens.
Oh my god, yes, please. Oh my god, Mike Mahan, if you ever end up watching this, do that. But great art. They've been nailing the Lower Decks art, absolutely. You can't really go wrong with it because you pretty much copy and paste from what they do in the show. But it is. I'm glad they've stayed faithful. They could have done this very wrong, and maybe could have done a realistic interpretation. But no, they've given us the cards we want, the art we want. I kind of want him for this, just so I can have him on an awkward.
Just the art.
Yeah.
So just to bring this up, someone has brought up the idea that now that we have 5 Star Trek series going at the same time, some live action, some animated, I really want some kind of crossover. Someone brought up,
been alluded.
I would love it if you just see some of the live action actors on the bridge of the Strange New Worlds Enterprise, and it's wait, who are those guys? And then in Lower Decks they go back to that episode and it's all animated and you get to see all of them with the same voice talent. Something like that. Just do something fun with it.
It was Alex Kurtzman or Sneaker Martin Green or someone was talking that they were alluding to the fact there may be some sort of crossover happening in one of the future series. But we'll talk about that on our next Star Trek show. The Star Trek show, which keep an eye on the schedule. We'll be doing one of them sometime in August. But yes, no, I would love. Yeah, I think crossover makes a lot of sense, especially with time travel shenanigans. It can be done.
Absolutely.
A holodeck.
And they talk.
Final crew. One crew left.
Final crew before we close out the night. Bionic 5 Rutherford from the episode where they decide to reenact every Star Trek movie in the holodeck of the Cerritos. This is another great one. I really like the art for this because it's a very mean Rutherford you don't get. He's mean, but it's okie dokie at the end of it. Right, guys, do you find it interesting how sorry, no, actually, Walt, do flavor text, sorry.
I've not got it ready. Phil.
Okay.
Job security.
Okay. Do you find it interesting that they're not giving us default crew, Lower Decks crew straight off? It's always been odd where, we don't have a normal Boimler, we don't have a normal Tendi, we don't have a normal Rutherford yet. These are all
we kind of got all the normals for Strange New Worlds, so True. I think that's fine. I really don't want 3 months of just everyone stock standard standing there with their normal uniform on. So.
Lower Decks doesn't lend itself to that. Lower Decks is very the antithesis
it
of
wouldn't
all.
be fun to do that. Battle Left Mariner, that is literally your introduction to the character. It's a perfect distillation of what she's about. What would it serve to have Lieutenant Mariner and she's just standing there it's boring.
Yep.
Rutherford is cast in Mariner's hollow novel Crisis Point as Vindictus cyborg henchman Bionic 5.
Interesting that Holographic Doll says in chat he doesn't have the blue-orange outline. It actually is an art.
That's true.
that doesn't have that. The first art that doesn't have it. That's really interesting. A nice little tonal shift, but I still think he looks good.
Yeah, because even Commander Ransom has that, and he's lower decks. So yeah, that is interesting. I could definitely see them pushing an update for that in the future. But
add the blue line back.
yeah. Crew wise, Dip Eng Sec, Void Rank 155. 2 collections.
Don't do it.
Maybe 3 collections with animated.
Don't do it.
Not for a Tuesday.
I mean, 4 collections. So he actually reminds me of what's his name, Damon Solak, who's upcoming, and that he has some good traits, has a few collections, but he's not got much else. Similar voyage power, I think, and even similar skill sets, I think. So yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
Question from Cold in chat for podcast listeners asking, in the future, a year down the line, how retrievable will this crew be?
Starfleet criminal costumed will probably do it. Because there's not many Starfleet criminals.
Engineered criminals got to be.
He's the only engineered criminal at the moment, so.
Yeah, that's fairly decent.
How is that possible when Khan exists?
Khan wasn't a criminal.
Because he's not a criminal.
He's not a criminal.
Yeah, he is.
Not in the game.
No.
Literally left the Earth because he lost the eugenics war and was going to get executed.
Yeah, but that Khan, Wrathful Khan, wasn't a criminal.
They haven't caught him yet.
But he's been absolved.
I see. Criminal only applies if you get caught.
Actually, that's true. In Space Seed, yeah, Kirk says, we're not going to charge you, but we're going to exile you. So by the letter of the law, he's been exonerated.
He's misunderstood.
Should be a criminal.
I have a pet peeve, and maybe you guys can validate me on this one. Make hidden traits searchable in the vault, and just call them Bionic 5, because that's a billion times cooler than Bionic 5 Rutherford, right?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Then if you need your Picards, you don't have to type Galen, right?
You don't have to type Cisco or Benny Russell. That's another one.
You can't search for EV
Dr.
Suit Crew.
Hippocrates, Noah.
You can't search for EV Suit Crew because it's a collection, but it's a hidden tag. Like, it's a hidden trait. They should either make that trait visible, or we can search hidden tags, which you can do on the data core and bigbook.app. So
why do you guys always mention data core first? What am I paying you for?
Because I like to give them a little bit of present. I like to say something.
Look up here.
Look, the resource is struggling. They need all the help they
Datacore
can
is
get.
a very good website with some very useful tools. They should have their say. I'm not going to do them down for that. Anyway,
update from chat from Ben. We're working on being able to search for hidden traits in the vault. I assume in the vault. It won't be for client or 2.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll go back and edit some of these names. Oh, yeah, he says in cryo.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt they'd edit some of these names because it'd be a lot of work. But in the future, release more cool like Galen and Bionic 5 and stuff like that.
Is client their code for like beers? Is like, we'll do it in a beer or 2, or we'll do it in a few trips to the pub. You know, keep saying in the next client, or like the next pub trip, we'll do it. You know. Anyway,
after 3 clients, they can't code worth bleep.
Oh, hidden trait audit as well. The trait audit auto.
I put in all the hidden traits. I put in male, female. I did the series, so there you go.
You are the trait audit.
And now Ben is going to go completely silent and not address your 400 long page audit. Love you, Ben.
Okay.
The guy who already got his EV suit Worf has nothing to fear from Ben's record.
I got mine.
Yeah,
Can you imagine if they like updated EV suit Worf's arm with like a Crayola drawing, like really badly done?
Can you think? Also,
that's fine. I'll just have the memories.
Can you think how many Worfs that Stars has got over how many Chakotay's you've got?
Dude, I had Dreamwalker. Dreamwalker is as good as all the rest combined. Come on.
Never mind. Okay, I think it's time for us to wrap this up.
He's the best crew in the game with a spear.
That's probably not even.
Lincoln's better.
I'm sure there's a cadet somewhere.
He's got gauntlet at least.
Okay.
Spear throwing Worf from what is it? That 2-parter?
Oh, Birthright.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
That'd be good.
Throw
it through the wheel. Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay. Frank, Walt, thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you this week to give us your inputs on boss battles and these crew as well. Stars, thank you for joining me. And also, pretty good to see you again, buddy. We've honestly missed you so much. Also, keep an eye out. This Saturday, we're going to be doing Star Trek Adventures, which will be This goes on too long.
That's the joke.
Okay, yes, this Saturday we'll be doing Star Trek Adventures, so keep an eye on that. And I forget what we're doing next week. Are we doing Legacy? What did I put in the event chat? On our Discord, which join our Discord if you're not already, bit.ly/timelinestalks. Yes, we are doing Star Trek.
We are in fact doing Legacy.
We are doing Star Trek Legacy, third part, which I'm very much enjoying with Star's expert tutelage.
We're going to be getting into the motion picture era, which will be a lot of fun.
Do I fight Vija?
No.
Do I get to wear a...
You fight something weird, though. You'll like what you fight.
Fight Admiral Cartwright.
A giant head of Admiral Cartwright.
Fight Admiral Jameson in his Winnebago chair flying around space.
Oh, that would just make my day. But guys, especially our guests, any final words, any shout outs, any thoughts you'd like to end on tonight?
I mean, I think again, just got some notes before the show with some Star Trek birthdays coming up in August. Michelle Yeoh turning 60, which is pretty incredible, and Jonathan Frakes is turning 70 on the 19th of August.
Oh my
God!
He can't be allowed
birthday
that.
treats that WRG might be giving us. And Mae Jameson says good night as well. So.
Oh.
He's an astronaut.
Yep.
She's a Lego piece.
Yes.
Shout out to IPA, Interplanetary Alliance, the best fleet of all time. Yeah! Woo!
And on that note, we will see you next time. Ta-ra!